My name's Tim. I run this thing. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. Actors, writers, people off the street, all of you. Really appreciate it. Basically, what's going to happen in the next 2 hours, 2 and a bit hours, is that we're going to hear 30 pages from 2 different scripts read by truly amazing actors. And then after each script, the writer, me, and our insider, Debbie, who... Oh, by the way, we have Debbie Liebling in the house. Can we clap, please? So yeah, Debbie and I are going to come on and we give feedback to the writers of each script. And once Debbie and I have finished shredding the writer, we will take feedback from you guys. So your job is not just to sit there and look at the actors. One of the reasons why we encourage writers to come and why I do this is that I think that hearing scripts informs your own writing. As you're writing your own script, if you're forced to listen to somebody else's script and say, well, what are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? What are things that I can notice in my writing that I'm seeing here on stage that perhaps I shouldn't be doing or I should do more of? So really try to use this opportunity to kind of really listen to the script and try and identify good bits and bad bits. So what we're trying to do is really help the scripts that have come in. We respect what the writers have done up until this point to get them to this point, and our job is to see if we can make some suggestions or point out some things that can help them with the rewrite. And then at the end, once we finish the 2, then Debbie and I will do a Q&A and we will take questions. And for those of you who didn't read the memo, Debbie knows everybody in Hollywood and has done everything in Hollywood. Literally everything. So Debbie was an executive at Fox when Borat was happening and I was working there. Debbie worked at Comedy Central when South Park was getting off the ground. And I would love to know, I'm very curious to know about that. So that's what's going to happen. So I think that's all I need to say. We're going to start with Glass City. Oh, I should say a big congratulations to our 2 writers. We have Jason and Erin who are in the house. Congratulations. So we're going to start with Jason's script. So actors, let's come up. And Jason, where are you?
Right here.
What is it? It's a
Dramedy.
A dramedy?
Yeah.
TV dramedy, right?
TV dramedy.
Great. So let's do this.
Glass City, written by Jason Gilmore. Exterior, Richards Road, afternoon. Late summer, the south side of Toledo, Ohio, 1993. It's a quiet neighborhood with green, well-preserved front lawns and ranch-style single-family homes. Suddenly we hear heavy breathing. Cut to Corey, 15 years old, an average black boy with caramel skin, and running as fast as he can. He's terrified. We hear sounds behind him, threats and jeers. Hakeem, a taller, aggressive black boy with a flat top, chases him. Throughout the block, others observe the scene. A couple of teenage girls watch them pass and shake their heads. An old black man on his front porch watches and laughs. As Corey's yellow house approaches, he leaves Hakeem in the dust. At the edge of Corey's property, Hakeem stops.
I'm gonna bust your ass tomorrow. And them Jordans is mine next time I see you, little bitch.
Corey gets to the front door and it opens on cue. Interior, Corey's living room, afternoon. Corey enters in a huff, breathing hard. His mother, Regina, approaches him concerned.
You okay, baby?
Yeah,
What did that boy want?
to make my life hell as usual.
Watch your mouth.
I thought hell was a place.
You know what I mean. He's probably just jealous. You should try to avoid him.
He lives a block over and goes to the soft private school you got me going to. Kinda hard to miss him.
Toledo's just gotten so dangerous. Your father would know what to do.
He just do what I've been doing, run away. I guess being a coward is a family tradition.
He storms out.
That's a terrible thing to say about your father. Pray about it.
Interior, Fitchland Avenue, Church of Christ, morning. Corey sits next to Regina, dressed in his Sunday best, enraptured by the preaching of his minister, Brother Jones, who's at the climax of his sermon. Brother Jones is an immense kickball-shaped man in his 50s. But God told Joshua to do something foolish, so that when Jericho fell, all the people would know that it was God and not Joshua that made the walls of Jericho fall.
Yes.
Amen.
Great.
After the crowd simmers a bit, Brother Jones pats his head with a handkerchief and continues. And this is where it may apply to your life. Sometimes in order for God to rescue you from your problems, you may have to do something that looks foolish. You have to take a bold stand when God gives you the road map out of your problems. You might have to go against the school of conventional thought and shake up your life. Corey nods in a quiet approval. Interior Corey's bedroom, night. Corey's bedroom is so 1993. Posters of Naughty by Nature, Salt and Pepper, Halle Berry, and Toledo's own Dallas Mavericks guard Jimmy Jackson hang throughout his room. A green cross colors outfit hangs on his door. Corey lies in bed, staring at the ceiling. Regina enters.
All right, time to get to sleep. Are you excited about starting 10th grade tomorrow?
No.
What's wrong with you?
Nothing.
She notices the cross colors outfit.
Why didn't you put this in your closet?
I was gonna wear it tomorrow.
All the money I'm spending for that school, I know you kidding about that. Now look, I'll be working, so you on your own. You should get ready now.
Corey sighs and rises. Regina exits. Corey walks towards the door and stares at the outfit.
Shake up your life.
Interior bedroom, Pam's house, morning. The alarm clock blares at 5 a.m. Melissa, also 15, awakens barely. Interior shower, Pam's house, morning. The hot water hits Melissa's tortilla brown colored face to little effect. She's not feeling any of this. Interior kitchen, Pam's house, morning. Pam, Melissa's 38-year-old mom, is at the stove cooking eggs and sausage and venting to herself about the morning news on a nearby television. She's tall, physically intimidating, and emotionally flammable.
Why is this mayor out of his damn mind? Can you believe this? What is this new bullshit? It done robbed another bank. These niggas in Toledo done lost their minds. And what they talking about now? They cutting out the after-school programs? This city's shitty economy going to hell.
Meanwhile, Melissa is 4 feet away from Pam at the kitchen table, on the phone with her laid-back dad, Gary.
I know, Dad, but this is major for me. I have to write for The Wave this year.
The Wave. That's your school newspaper, right?
Yes. We just missed the cut for National Pacemaker Awards 2 years in a row. We've got to get one. I can get them over the hump.
Hey, look, don't be going in there like you have all the answers. Just, you have to pay your dues.
That's the problem with Toledo. Everybody's always waiting on something. I'm going to be an editor this year.
Melissa, is that your father on the phone?
Melissa recoils slightly.
Yes.
Pam approaches with food on a plate and drops it on the table in front of Melissa. She snatches the phone and talks headed towards the living room.
Oh, so now you know my number, Gary? Couldn't call me back all summer when you had Melissa, but now you know my number.
Melissa shrinks but begins eating. Interior, tartar bus, morning. Melissa sits against the window, still looking a little frazzled. And there's some of everyone she doesn't want to become on the bus. There's a teen mom looking frail and sad. There's a drug addict, maybe 4 days from death. A wino sips from a brown paper bag. There's some hood dude eating a slice of pizza and smacking his lips. He rises, still holding a slice.
Yo, I'm the Calumet Strangler. Rapping that West Side destined for greatness. Yo, check me out. Here we go. Mass hysteria, malaria, killing you amateurs and rookies. Shit, I forgot. What was the next line? Oh, okay. Yo, that shit was tight though, right? That shit was tight. I got mixtapes here. If y'all want to hear some more? No? Well, fuck y'all bitch asses anyway, man. What?
He sits back down and continues grubbing on his pizza slice. Only in Toledo. Melissa opens her journal. On the screen we see her outstanding handwriting. All that matters. 1, become a great writer. 2, get the hell out of Toledo. But she notices a bus girl across the aisle from her. A chocolate girl with her purple extensions in her hair. The girl glows amidst all the mediocrity surrounding her. Melissa quickly reaches in her backpack to try and find a pencil. Once she's ready to write, she looks back at the girl and she's gone, vanished. Melissa looks around for her and can't find her anywhere. Weird. The bus stops in front of her school. Interior high school hallway, morning. It's a racially mixed but predominantly white co-ed Catholic school. Corey walks through the hallway with his backpack on. He's wearing the green cross-color outfit. Everyone else in the school is in navy blue color scheme, business casual uniforms. He stands out like a Martian. The laughter starts early. Corey passes students who look at him and point and snicker. His confidence erodes as the comments become audible.
You're kidding, right? Yo, what's up, homeboy? You be stupid fresh.
Yo, dog. You know they're gonna send you home, right? You violate the dress code, you apple Jolly Rancher looking ass.
Interior Mrs. Martinez's office, morning. Concurrently, Melissa stands over the sitting Mrs. Martinez, mid-40s, bookish but firm, trapping her in her small rectangular office.
You have to wait until the meeting today to pitch ideas.
I understand that, Mrs. Martinez, but they don't really take underclassmen seriously there.
That's not true at all. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
I just wanted to give you some things to think about. Student profiles of people's favorite TV shows. We could talk about the school's partnership with UT, recap the whole cafeteria mystery linguine travesty from last spring.
If underclassmen are not taken seriously, it's because of tried ideas like those. Come to the meeting, join the staff, and work your way up slowly. I shouldn't say this, but do you know why we fell short of the Pacemaker Award last year?
Because I wasn't there.
But Mrs. Martinez ain't having it.
No. We need more inspirational stories. The underdog that overcomes trials. More journalism. You're not ready. Come today, sit and listen.
Mrs. Martinez exits. Melissa remains in place, crestfallen. Interior high school hallway, morning. Corey spots a nearby water fountain and bends over to take a sip. He gets kicked in the butt. Corey swivels quickly with his fist balled and right arm cocked. It's Hakeem. They are face to face.
What you gonna do? Hit me?
Of course not. Corey backs up slightly.
Thought not, you little bitch.
Hakeem smacks Corey in the face and shoves him to the floor. Students in the hallway laugh and walk away. Hakeem turns and exits as the students disappear, and Corey eventually lifts himself off the floor. One student remains watching him. It is Melissa.
What type of dude smacks dudes? Man.
Corey rises and walks towards his locker. Melissa follows him.
He's going to keep smacking you until you stop him.
No duh.
You don't even try. He's a bully. Bullies don't want to fight. They want to be bullies.
Yeah, well, thanks for the advice.
Melissa.
She extends her hand and Corey shakes it.
Corey, nice to meet you.
Why did you wear that outfit today?
I just want to be different. That's the only way to make it out of Glass City. Gotta break the glass.
It's all over her face. Melissa has never agreed with anything more in her life.
Right. You went about it the wrong way, but you're right.
Corey Oakley! Father Al wants to see you in his office right now. Corey veers off to the right, towards Father Al's office.
They worried about my outfit, but Hakeem up here smacking people in the face, and somehow that's cool.
And Melissa now knows how she can impress Mrs. Martinez.
Underdog.
End Act 1. Act 2, interior, Mrs. Martinez classroom, afternoon. About a dozen wave riders sit in a square formation of desks, while Mrs. Martinez struggles to write more pitched ideas onto an already filled chalkboard.
Any last pitches for the first issue?
Melissa raises her hand. There's
Anyone besides Melissa?
Some of the other wave riders roll their eyes and mumble, but no one steps up until
We could always address the cafeteria mystery linguine travesty from last spring.
there are a couple murmurs of genuine excitement and support.
That's stupid.
Melissa, that was not necessary.
You know what else isn't necessary? Us getting our asses handed to us at the Pacemaker Awards.
Language. Melissa, language.
Last year, by that ghetto charter school in Cincinnati, or wherever the hell they're from. We should be better than that. The Wave's been one of the greatest high school newspapers in America for 50 years. Do you want that to end on your watch? It's not happening on mine. You know, I shouldn't even say this, but you know why we lost last year?
The room is somehow annoyed and intrigued simultaneously.
We need more inspirational stories. The underdog that overcomes trials. That's how they got us last year. I know a kid who's getting bullied here every day right now, and I can't go into it too much right now, but his story is going to shake this school to its core. Are we journalists or are we not? Because if you're just here so that you can add school newspaper on your list of activities for your Harvard application that's just going to get denied anyway, then just let me know. But I'm trying to be great. What are you trying to do?
The most awkward silence you can imagine.
This better be good.
Interior, Melissa's bedroom / Corey's bedroom, night. Melissa and Corey converse from their respective bedrooms. Corey sits on his bed, eating soup and scouring through the cassette tapes.
How'd you get my number?
You're friends with that kid Dante, right?
Yeah, that's my boy.
I asked Olivia, who got it from Nadia, who got it from Lil Chris, who got it from Jazzy, who got it from Dante.
School ain't even big enough to be that complicated.
Melissa's doing homework.
I figured you want the geometry homework from today since you didn't make it to class.
Can you believe they sent me home today?
Actually, yes, I can.
They got other stuff they should be worried about up there. A brother was just trying to express himself. Straight up, I really see how it happens.
See how what
I
happens?
see how dudes just snap and go postal.
Melissa puts him on speaker and presses record on her small tape recorder.
Why would you say that you see how people go postal?
Corey rises and walks around his room while still eating soup.
I just can't deal. My dad, he's a wild boy and really not around much anyways. Hakeem always embarrassing me, and then, why are you being so nice to me?
Why not?
You never paid any attention to me before. I sat next to you in English every day last year
Really?
and sat behind you in algebra.
That's creepy.
It was a sign. Your hair and perfume smelled nice, but it wasn't like I liked it.
Somehow your legitimate alibi made you sound even creepier. How did this whole thing with Hakeem start?
Corey cuts on his TV and begins flipping channels. He's pretty much done with the soup.
He always been messing with me since like 8th grade. He was always bigger and taller than me. I just thought it would go away. It feels like it's getting worse.
Did you tell anybody?
Melissa walks to her door and closes it softly.
My mom knows, but what's she gonna do? At school, nobody cares. The teachers don't believe me. Everybody else thinks it's funny because he's popular, and then in our neighborhood, he's gang affiliated. So it's like, what am I gonna do?
I told you, it's never gonna end until you fight back.
So he could beat me up or worse? And I just told you, he's gang affiliated.
Melissa crosses to the window in her room and looks out of it.
My mom lived in New Orleans until she was 13.
Comic book sequence. A teenaged Pam crosses the street, minding her own business.
And then my grandparents moved to Toledo.
3 teenage girls watch her, filled with venom.
Her freshman year at DeVilbiss, there were these 3 girls who hated her on sight.
They run in and attack her.
So one day they tried to jump her at the bus stop.
Pam punches one girl in the jaw.
My mom punched the first girl in the face and knocked her out.
The second girl holds her shoulder in pain.
Separated the second girl's shoulder.
Pam chases the third girl with a broken bottle.
And chased the third one home with a broken bottle.
Interior, Melissa's bedroom / Corey's bedroom night.
Dang, your mom is a G.
My mom is crazy, but she hasn't been in a fight since. Except with my dad, but that's another story.
Wait, she got in a fight with your dad?
The point is, you can change this.
Melissa goes back to the recorder and checks to make sure it's still recording.
What would you like to see change about the way that bullying is handled?
Are you interviewing me?
No, I just genuinely want to know.
You said genuinely. Do you talk like that at the cool 10th grade black girls table with Jana and them?
I didn't know it was called that, and that's a weird question.
Why?
Because what we talk about there is none of your business. And I'm pretty sure you wouldn't be interested in it.
Bet you I would. Suppose I came and sat there tomorrow with you. Would you let me?
It's a free country, Corey. You can sit wherever you like.
Interior cafeteria afternoon. Melissa and 3 of her photogenic friends, Jana, Olivia, and Angelique, sit at the same table, semi-obvious to the world around them until Corey spots them, then approaches the table.
What's up, Melissa?
He puts down his tray. Jana and Angelique roll their eyes at him and scatter. Melissa wants to leave, then doesn't. Then rises to leave, then sits down. Olivia shakes her head no, but never moves. Corey sits down, bites into an apple, and smirks at Melissa. Interior, Melissa's bedroom / Corey's bedroom night. They are on the phone again. Melissa cradles the phone on her neck while typing on a word processor.
I didn't think you were going to actually do it.
You shouldn't have told me to. I mean, there's a whole bigger thing here. The people like you, there's people like you and your little girlfriends and Hakeem, and then there's people like me.
Oh, okay, wow. So now I'm lumped in with them, huh?
I'm just saying, there's a whole system in place in high school, and you got your set role, and I got my set role, and that's it. So you could sit there and tell me what I should do.
Interior, Corey's living room / Pam's living room night. At the same time, their mothers each yell out to them.
Melissa!
Corey!
Yes!
Stop tying up my damn phone!
Let me use the phone.
Interior, Corey's bedroom / Melissa's bedroom night. Corey flops onto his bed.
My mom is so annoying.
Mine is worse.
Yeah, well, we all know about your mom dropping flying elbows on niggas like the Macho Man. Oh, yeah!
Awkward silence.
Hello?
Don't do that again. To anyone.
Sorry. But thanks for listening. You're the only person I could talk to about this.
Sure thing.
Good night.
They hang up. We stay with Melissa and cut to her word processor where she finishes up an article called The Life of a Bullied Student, an expose. Graphic match to Interior High School hallway day. That same headline, now on the cover of The Wave, carried by student after student as they parade through the hall. Melissa notices them with pride all over her face and veers into Mrs. Martinez's office. Interior, Mrs. Martinez's office, day. Mrs. Martinez grabs a quick snack as she reads a newspaper.
Mrs. Martinez, I just wanted to thank you again for putting my article on the front page. I didn't even know that was even possible for a sophomore.
Anything's possible with good writing. You wanted to make an impact and rose to the challenge. How were you able to get him to speak so freely?
On the record, I'm just talented, Mrs. Martinez.
Good thing you are. If you'd done it without his knowledge, you'd be off the paper. We don't forgive that.
Oh boy. Melissa gives the fakest smile that she can.
But your story was well written, powerful, and the subject needed to be addressed.
So, can we talk about finding an editor position for me?
Do you like sports?
Not really, why?
Wanted to give you a piece on Darian Gillespie. He's a new student, a sophomore transfer from Stark. Supposed to be a pretty good basketball player. I'm actually glad you're not into sports. It'd be a good test for you. But we'll talk about it later.
But, Mrs. Martinez...
I'm eating.
Melissa takes the hint and exits. Interior high school hallway, day. Melissa winds up at her locker. She looks down to finger her combination lock. Suddenly, a hand appears from off screen that grabs Melissa by the shoulder and yanks her around the corner. End Act 2. Act 3, interior, history classroom, day. Corey pulls Melissa into the empty classroom. He has a copy of the newspaper in his other hand.
What are you doing?
You trying to get me killed?
He throws the paper at her.
I talk to you, tell you all my problems, and write an article about it. And write an article about it? In the Wave?
I didn't mention anyone's name. People are looking at the problem now, which is what we wanted.
It's what you wanted.
No one knows it's about you.
There's like 300 people in this school. Everyone knows it's about me.
Corey picks up the paper. He finds the article and reads an excerpt to her.
He's always been messing with me, says Donnie. Since like 8th grade. He's always bigger and taller than me. I just thought it would go away. I said those exact words to you.
You read really well. Have you considered voiceover work?
You've been taping me all this time.
I have to go to class.
She tries to walk past him and he blocks her.
Have you been taping me all this time?
I'm going to be late.
Have you been taping me?
Of course I've been taping you. I'm a journalist.
Isn't that illegal? Aren't you supposed to tell people when you're taping them?
Speaking of which, can you do me a solid and not tell anyone that you didn't know?
Can I do you a solid?
Please, this is my whole life.
Maybe I don't want to fight. Did you ever think about that?
No. I thought I saw something in you. That you were a fighter. That you weren't like all the other small-minded people here who just settle for whatever life gives them. Maybe I just wanted to wake you up.
They stare at each other for a few seconds. Both have lost their impatience.
I have to go to class.
Corey reluctantly steps aside, but just as she reaches the door.
You know, there was a moment in there when I thought that at least I had one friend who was pretty and smart and cared about me. You have your way of making it out, and I wish you could have just respected mine. Really nice article. I hope you're real proud of it.
Melissa exits. Interior high school hallway, day. Melissa storms back into the hallway headed to class, pissed that Corey's pissed at her. When suddenly behind her, she hears a voice.
Hey, you Melissa Forrester?
Yes, what?
She whips around and encounters the prettiest boy she's ever seen in her life. He's tall and angular with a jock swagger.
Oh, hi.
Yo, I'm Darian Gillespie. Miss Martinez said you supposed to be writing some kind of article on me or something for the school paper?
Yes?
Melissa is dazed and then finally gets it together.
Yes. Let me get your number and I'll call you.
You got something to write with?
Melissa hands him a sheet of paper and a pen. She turns around and he uses her shoulder to write on the paper. No longer facing him, her face is now free to gawk at her good fortune. Interior living room of Pam's house. Flashback night. 7 years before, after a night of partying, Pam and Gary have a heated argument. They are both well dressed. They're both angry drunks.
So what was her name? What was her name?
I don't know what you're talking about.
That bow-legged bitch that was all up in your face tonight.
I don't know what you're talking about, and you need to back off.
Back off you or what?
Look, Don't be trying to put it on me. When I came in and I saw you up later with Kenny.
Oh, you got a whole lot of nerve bringing that up after Stacy. I should have kicked your ass.
Threaten me again.
I said I should have kicked your...
Gary already has his hand around her throat, choking her. She kicks him in the nuts, and they roll around on the floor, landing punches on each other. Melissa, age 8, watches in her doorway, crying.
Mommy, no! Daddy, stop!
Interior Tartar bus evening. Melissa snaps out of it. She notices the same bus girl from the other morning. This time she sits alone at the rear of the bus. The girl catches Melissa's attention and beckons her to come to her. Without hesitation, Melissa gets up and walks to the back of the bus to sit with her.
What do you want?
I want what I always want. For you to listen.
Melissa takes out her pen and paper and begins to write.
My name is Rochelle. And I've got to tell you all about this boy I liked named Russell and the hell he put me through at school. Call this story Orange.
Orange?
You know you like those one-word titles. Oranges.
Okay. Where does this story start?
Here in Toledo. Okay, the Glass City. You know? No, wait, New Orleans. Okay, we can start at the end and double back to the beginning. Write this down. I think it'll be the final lines. And I couldn't wait to get back home.
First person narration?
Well, let's see.
Interior Tartar bus evening. Same bus, same trip, except Melissa is back in her original seat and fast asleep.
Melissa! Melissa!
She awakes abruptly.
Isn't this your stop, young lady?
Groggy, Melissa nods that it is. She glances at her notebook, in which she has written feverishly, ending with the phrase, "And I couldn't wait to get back home." She looks back to the rear of the bus. Some of the other bus passengers are there, but Rochelle is gone.
Thanks.
She staggers to the front of the bus.
Hey, I told you I'd watch out for you. Just make sure you tell your fine mama I said hello.
She nearly exits and then...
Hey, do you know a girl named Rochelle that rides this bus? Heavy, with glasses, purple extensions in her hair. She was sitting all the way in the back.
No one been like that on this bus today.
I just saw her. Like, I just talked to her.
Sorry, kid. I would know.
Melissa steps off the bus.
Hey now. Don't forget to tell your mama I said hi.
Interior living room, Pam's house evening. Melissa walks into the living room and hears Pam talking on the phone.
She did what? What am I just hearing about this? Well, is it true? So what do you want me to do about it?
Melissa attempts to cross past her and head to the dining room table.
Mm-hmm. She just got home now. I'll ask her. You know a boy at your school named Corey Oakley?
Yes, unfortunately. What now?
His mom done sat up here and called my house saying you wrote some article about him, and now his life is in danger.
This is so melodramatic.
So is it true?
Melissa sits down and buries her face in her arms.
Well, I'm gonna talk to her about it and get back to you. What'd you say your name again? Regina? Okay, Regina Oakley. Okay. Bye.
Pam hangs up the phone. Interior Corey's living room evening. Regina has just hung up the phone from the conversation. Corey is in the background and incredulous.
She said she is gonna give her a good talking to.
Mom, I didn't ask you to call her, Mom. How'd that make me look?
When your safety is on the line, I don't care how you look.
How I look is why my safety's always on the line.
Regina crosses to him.
Look, baby, you know things have been hard since your father left.
Things was hard when he was here too.
He did the best he could.
Corey sucks his teeth.
Stop. God's word says, honor your father and your mother.
Ephesians 6:4, fathers, do not anger your children. Instead, bring them up in the training and instruction of the Lord. And then it goes off into slavery and it gets weird.
Regina looks at him and becomes overcome with emotion.
It's just been so hard. And I'm trying the best I can to take care of you, and maybe I just
She
tried.
starts crying, which softens Corey.
Mom, okay, I'm sorry. It's not a big deal. Hakeem's been messing with me for a long time, but I think it's almost over. Melissa's dumb story just made its way, made a bigger deal than what it really is. Okay, I'm fine.
They hug. And then, as always, Corey becomes the one who dries her tears.
It's Friday night. I'm gonna go make us some popcorn, and there's this new sci-fi show coming on tonight called the X-Files or something like that, and we're gonna watch it, okay? And we're gonna have a good night, okay?
Regina smiles, wipes her tears, and holds him tight.
You always know what to say.
Interior dining room, Pam's house, evening. Melissa and Pam face each other at the dining room table.
I just don't know why I didn't know about this.
It just happened, Mom. I finished the article Wednesday night, turned it in yesterday morning, and it ran today.
That's so exciting, Melissa. It's barely the first week of school and you got an article published in your school newspaper. Why didn't you bring home copies?
Melissa shrugs.
And what's this his mom said about you interviewed him without him knowing?
Shit.
Fuck you said?
I said it's a hit. Everyone loved my article.
That's my girl.
I'm supposed to interview some kid on the basketball team next.
Is he cute?
Melissa smiles and squirms in her seat a bit.
Uh-huh. You be careful with them cute ones. Is this the same boy you've been tying up my phone with?
No, that was the kid whose mom just called me.
Yeah, be careful with them boys. You got too much going for you to be sidetracked like I did.
I'm not going to get sidetracked.
I'm not playing with you. No boyfriends, no admirers, no ice cream dates. Nothing.
Ice cream dates? What is this, Happy Days?
She pulls out a cigarette, lights it, and takes a puff.
You gonna stay in the books.
Melissa frowns a bit at her.
Okay, I get it. Can you drop me off at Olivia's house tomorrow?
What's going on over there?
Just want to go to my friend's house.
Look, you know your mom is crazy, and I don't get all these artistical things you and your dad are into. But I love you. And I don't want to find out things about you from other people. So please, don't ever feel like you have to lie to me about anything.
Okay.
And that's all.
Do you want to go first?
Is that how it goes?
It never goes the same way twice. It really depends. So,
Really?
yeah, do it.
All right. Well, look, really good job.
Thank you.
I think there's a lot of great comic relief and potential there.
Okay.
Particularly with your characters.
Okay.
I would say my biggest note is tone.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'm not totally sure who it's for and what we're trying to say, because at times it feels like a very innocent high school thing, and then I'm not sure why you place the departures of the animated sequence and the parents fight where they are. They're important flashbacks, but I'm not sure about the placement of them and why at that point, because I'm not getting. I wasn't getting enough into the characters, particularly Melissa. Corey, I feel like I get. Melissa doesn't seem to match her family, so I need to know is that I get that you're trying to get her. She wants to get away.
Right.
I think there might be more organic way in.
Okay.
But I guess so for tone, I felt like sometimes it gets really heavy, sometimes it gets really light. I think the comedic stuff is great, and that stuff can work together usually really, really well.
Right. Okay.
But the piece, like, I guess what I'd ask, who would you like this show to be for? Like, where would you like to see it?
I would like to see it on, everyone says Netflix, but a big inspiration, I'd say a big inspiration has definitely been Atlanta. The show Atlanta, how it jumps wildly at times between comedy and drama. And growing up in Toledo, it felt like that. It felt like something really funny happens, and then 2 minutes later, like, a tragedy happens. And it's just like, what is going on here? Like, you don't know what's coming or what's not coming. So I wanted to kind of create a show that felt like what growing up there, black in the 90s, felt like.
Okay, so that's fantastic, and I'm sure if I read more, I would probably get that.
Okay.
But in that context, I get it, but I get that, but I guess if I was more tracking the characters, then I would know why that happened at that moment. Like, why is Melissa remembering that about her parents? Because what's going on with her
Okay.
in this episode? Because we still have to sort of tell what is going on with her.
Right.
And right now it's like, oh, the first day of school, and you know she's ambitious, and
Right.
you know she wants to get out. I don't even know if she has to write that down. It's almost like it could come out in her conversation with Corey.
Okay.
But I was just wondering, I just didn't have a clear sense of
Right,
her.
right.
She didn't seem to have any, once the teacher says to her, you shouldn't have done it that way, you know, she doesn't seem nervous when Corey grabs her. She was just sort of like, well, what? Like, what's the big deal? Like, she
Right.
did something really, really wrong.
Right.
And I didn't see the conflict. And even her mother, after promising to talk to her about it, kind of abandoned that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I just wasn't sure what was really going on inside of her. And that was probably the most confusing part for me. So to defend what you're saying about, you know, the Atlanta thing and the crazy amalgam of highs and lows, I think that's a really great way to do it. And you might even be able to set that up in the church scene a little bit more, because he's kind of giving him something, but maybe what you say there is more thematic to your show.
Right.
So we kind of understand the landscape that these kids are navigating.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, that was helpful?
No.
Okay.
I mean, yes,
That's
yes.
my sort of general. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, mine's the same. I thought Debbie said tone. To me, as I was listening to it, it felt like you were throwing in everything and the kitchen sink in terms of, I'm going to do an animated bit, I'm going to do a flashback bit, I'm going to do this bit. It was almost like a smorgasbord of an episode. Choose what you want, you know, which made it uneven.
Okay.
So it was like I didn't think we needed the animated thing. I didn't think, for me, and I don't know about everybody else here, but for me the most resonating parts were when Corey and Melissa were talking, and they had their very specific issue. He had his bullying. They were bonding. She fucked him over. Didn't fuck him. And then
That's episode 2.
yeah, that's episode 2. And then she makes an enormous mistake, and then you think she's going to need his help, and then it sort of, but it kept veering off. We kept wandering off.
Right.
And so I was like, well, what's the show about? Like, what are we? It wants to be.
I will say that there's a couple. I know we just had to cut off
No, I
at
know.
30, but there's a couple additional pages that
Sure.
kind of bring so in fairness, but still to your point about tone.
But it feels like Corey and Melissa wanted to be about them. Like it feels like you want it to be about Corey and Melissa. They are head and shoulders above everything else that happens in that script.
Okay.
And they're for me the most compelling. And the way you have them, they feel real. They feel like they live in houses that are far from perfect. I thought it was interesting what you said about the highs and lows, because you were still operating within a fairly limited range of highs and lows. Like nothing terribly dramatic happened and nothing terribly amazingly high happened. I mean, it was sort of like if you're going for that,
Right.
you might want to experiment with. Their home seemed okay now. Like they had some pasts, but day to day, their mums are sort of taking care of them. Things seem okay. School seemed okay. I mean, the bullying was like, yes, Hakeem's a jerk, but it was like, it was okay.
Okay.
So it's like, I guess I'm encouraging you to go kind of clear out some of the other formats and bits and pieces. Think about it as a through line. This is really a show about Melissa, Corey, and their families. And maybe put in some more highs and lows. Put in, and then the flashbacks will kind of organically can explain
Yeah, I think
something.
emotional stakes is what is missing,
Yes.
and creating those. And if you're thinking Netflix, like right now, it reads like a young show, like a CW or something like that. Because it's not weighted enough.
Right.
Because the characters don't have enough emotional stakes, and I think that's what you're saying, highs and lows. So it doesn't have to be that someone is that there's a murder or
No,
something
no.
like that. It just means that
No,
for
standing optional.
them,
Yeah.
when that Corey being bullied is maybe that's devastating for him. The absence of his father, his mother. I mean, I thought that was interesting that his mother sort of goes to him to take care of her. So you could make more of that, I think, because that could be really profound
Yeah,
and
yeah.
powerful and difficult. That when he's in a time of need, that she's asking him to look after her, which is
Right.
kind of a fucked up thing that I'm sure many of us can relate to. And
That's the after we were done.
So that to me had resonance. Melissa didn't have any stakes, and I thought that some of the interactions with the teacher they felt more like the kind of thing you would see in a more of a Nickelodeon kind of show instead of digging deeper into really what's going on in her frustration and her wanting to please and maybe not getting it so easily.
Okay.
And being all that in the bag of chips about being a journalist and then making a fundamental error of journalism. It says a lot about her. And it really it could be mined. It's like a really interesting mistake that she's made.
Yeah.
And because she's all about journalism, and yet that's not even 101. That's
It's
like
not
the
even
basics.
101,
It's like
right.
have you read anything about what it means to be a journalist? So and there was and the other thing is this is a horrible thing that people say all the time, so I apologize ahead of time. But it didn't feel super 1993. Like they were, I know they were talking on landlines, and someone and he was wearing the outfit, and someone made a line about. There was one line about a show or about something. Oh, the show about the X-Files.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering whether or not the
I had the same question. Why I didn't know why it was 93. What was
right.
Well, it's adapted from a novel that I wrote that's set in 93, so that's the technical answer. But I just
But
wanted.
you were a kid in 93.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So,
I was in high school then. So I wanted to look at it. I just wanted to look at that era again. I think that now we've gotten to a point where we're able to look back at the 90s with some distance. And so I wanted to deal with a lot of the issues we deal with today and kind of look at, I was even thinking about bullying and how we talk about bullying now versus then. Like then the only advice was like, well, you just need to punch them in the face, kind of thing. Like, you don't even tell kids that anymore, kind of thing. So it's like, so even just something that simple of like taking a look back at how we dealt with things then versus now. So.
But also, I mean, I'm older, so but I wouldn't have gone through a 30 minutes of a TV show set in my period without someone mentioning smoking, for example. Like it was like this, and the things kids did to show that they were the cool kids, or the I mean, I know I come from a different culture, and we all smoked and drank, but not me. But but you know what I mean? Like it was like how are kids establishing their identities in '93 in high school versus what's changed? What's different?
The specificity, what they're wearing, what they're reading,
their interactions,
what they're listening to. I mean, I thought the Rochelle thing was interesting, and I'm curious to see where that's going. And that was like an interesting sort of, fantasy or magical realism element or dream or whatever. I thought that had potential, and when you put something like that in something that seems sort of grounded, it can be very, very interesting, depending on what you do with it.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't want it to say that that I hated the script. I did not at all. It just feels like you're at phase one. Like I really think you can get in and make these people really come alive because you've lived it. Like you are uniquely suited to write this thing because you were there.
Right.
So I would open the door a little bit more and see what comes out. That would be my thing. All right, so let's take some. Anybody have any thoughts? You, Glenn.
I really liked the stuff that was in the flashbacks as far as like the trauma that can be caught in there. But I think you have an opportunity, is what they're saying, as far as putting your character's feet to the fire. It maybe instead of making it a flashback, making it a little more present. But it messes with your timeline. I don't know, like as far as how important that is as far as the timeline, but at least allowing it to be like, why today? Like seeing some of that applied pressure to the character to like bring that emotional stakes and then give that gravitas that really kind of helps the comedy really seep out.
Okay.
And I think as well, because I'm saying this being the racially ambiguous half-black kid that grew up an hour and a half south of Toledo in a private Christian school.
All right. So that was the Glenn show.
Yeah, wearing cross colors and everything.
Okay.
I laughed like reading all through this because it felt like a biography. But the amount of accidental racism that I came across from well-intended white people when being one of two kids and two black kids in my graduating class. Like,
I was the only one in my graduating class.
Yeah, Ohio was right
Really interesting.
with that well-intended accidental racism that gets ugly when it gets uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So like I almost wanted to
That's a
see a
good
little
note.
bit more of that that underbelly in there.
Yeah.
Was my only thought, like living as you did, like that. I kept having those little flashbacks. But
Okay.
That's a great note, because that will also put you in the time frame, because you
Okay.
can say, not that there isn't well-intended racism today, I'm sure there's plenty of it, but maybe there was a specificity then in that time that was acceptable, even, you know.
We didn't
Yeah,
question
yeah,
as much
yes,
as
or something
we
like
talk
that, so
about
that
it like
you,
we would now.
but
Yeah.
there, so that undercurrent of that will just add sort of tension to the character and more stakes for them.
Okay. Thank you.
So,
I personally think that the bus driver needs to be fleshed out. Not that character, by the way. For me, like, I mean, I read the book, you know, and reading the script, the one thing for me that didn't hit growing up, I was in high school in the 90s, and bullying was not as soft as it is here. Like, he pushed him down, it's like, ooh, like,
Well,
no, that
that's
would've
those
been-
last
that would've
pages
been
that
the
didn't
first,
get in. But go
you know
ahead.
what I'm saying? And I just think, like, obviously, it's more of that, more than what you show.
Mhm.
But I just think, like, it automatically, even if you didn't change any dialogue, but you just showed us the actual bullying, like more of what actually went down, him running from the guy shooting at him, and because I mean stuff like that went down, and I grew up in Houston, so you know, but just that automatically makes us understand Corey's mindset that much quicker without any more dialogue or anything, just like seeing those actual circumstances.
Okay.
Like, to me, that was kind of what was missing.
and you
But
do,
that bus driver.
yeah. You do want to avoid backloading your gravity,
Right.
because you know the people reading this script are reading a whole bunch of other scripts, and they're going to want to get hooked quicker than page 35. So that's important to keep an eye on.
Okay.
You can't do too much scene setting. I read, and I know, I'm sure you do too,
Yeah.
you read so many scripts where writers are kind of afraid to commit to the story, so they spend the first 30 pages just doing setup, and then they jump in, and by the time they're there, you just, it's like, I've got a whole stack of other things I've got to read. It's like, just for fuck's sake, get into the story. What are you trying to tell me?
Okay.
So be aware of that. Not that you're doing that entirely, but don't get
Yes.
lost
No.
doing
Okay.
that.
Thank you.
Yes?
Did you say it was okay to kind of make a pitch in this question?
Yes, I did. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it should be a music.
I'll try not to make it a pitch, but a suggestion.
Yeah, no,
as we
suggestions
go
fine.
approach this next draft. There's a sense of a heightened reality in this piece, and when I read this, it's almost like a hot, wet American summer where you see adults playing these, it's like going like. Even with the cartoon animation and some of the flashback and just how you set up the archetypes of the characters, you know, there is this, it's a heightened, there's something, you know, that will bring us to that nostalgia of the 90s. And so I think you could go in deeper with, I'm setting up the world and how I see it in a heightened reality sense, so that your experience with the 90s, we see it in a specially painted way as opposed to just the 90s as it is. And I think you need to give yourself liberty to go there heightened. And you know, if you see, like, for me, for some reason, I see like grown-ups playing these roles, you know, these teenage roles, and there's just a lot more, you know. So give yourself permission to play with it, because I think it'll add a special veneer to this project.
Okay.
You know?
you have some familiarity with grown-ups playing
Yeah,
roles
I
in high
just
school.
finished the series
Yeah.
with grown-ups playing middle schoolers. It's called Pen 15, and if you write Pen 15, it looks like penis. But it's sort of the two people who created it are 30, and they wanted a show about being in middle school in 2000. So it's very specific, but I don't necessarily think you need to put adults in this, but I do love the suggestion of, I mean, like Jonah Hill just did this movie called The 90s, and I haven't seen it yet, but I love the idea of, okay, that personalizing it, that idea, then you can go, oh my God, that character was a cartoon to you, that person was a cartoon to me, you know, and it becomes so much more subjective. And right now it's in a kind of a traditional box, and so this stuff doesn't feel organic. And I think
It's like
that's
we're
a
watching
great
a
note.
real life story of somebody watching a sitcom of their life or something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep. All right. Let's take a couple more. I know I'm seeing hands, but I haven't. No one over here. Okay. Fine. Oh, all right. I will come back.
Just a quick thing that I noticed. I don't know what Catholic school you went to, but the way they talk to the teachers there, like, were they that lax?
At times, I mean, the school I went to wasn't Catholic. It was just an independent school. But yeah, I had friends who went to Catholic school, and it just depended on that relationship with that teacher.
Well-
It got kind of casual sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay. We point made.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yes.
Yeah, when we talk about I know there have been some comments about the stakes being raised. I was interested because with the two younger characters of them trying to get away, to me the home really sets the tone. So with Pam, if there is the abuse of the parents always fighting, I was kind of interested to see more of the stakes being raised of what, instead of it just being the parents, how does that affect her? Is she afraid of going home? Does the abuse go between her, that dynamic between the family, in both families? Because, because it also seemed like the mothers are different, so you have these two worlds that are colliding, but I was interested to see the differentiation between those two worlds.
Okay.
And if the stakes are high, what really makes them want to go out? And I feel like I was interested to see that in the beginning, because then I could be more pulled into the world of being on the side of the kids wanting to get out because it's afraid to go home, and this happened, and then you have the mothers coming together, and then boom, that can set the tone of
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. Thank you.
Very good. We have one more. I'm going to not take you because you can talk to him afterwards. The gentleman in the beard at the back there.
So like just one small suggestion, basically, I think it could be beneficial if you take the line about like journalism about the tape recording, like doing it is wrong if they don't know. If you make that before she actually starts doing it, then like the audience knows that it's wrong, and I think it could solidify her real want for journalism, that she's willing to break the rules.
Okay.
And then
So that she knows that this
like
is
she's
wrong.
purposely,
Okay.
she really wants it that bad.
Okay.
And then just for like emotional stakes, I think the stakes are like, I think they're there, but I think the reason why they're not hitting is because we don't spend enough time with the characters before they happen. Like the one like emotional moment where he gets mad at her and he's like, I thought I had a friend. Like we only see them in 2 conversations over the phone. Like we don't even see them really interact with each other before that happens.
Okay.
And I feel like pretty much every emotional beat just felt unearned, at least as like an audience member for now.
Okay.
I think like if you can just ground them, like even like get them in scenes like together where they're actually talking. Like we had that one like cafeteria scene, but just something like that to where we can really feel it, we can see his life. Like we know he has a one bully, but then he also talks about like all these other, like he brings up some other names right that he had friends. So like I mean if we see that he doesn't really have anything like that, and then this girl comes into his life and like starts talking to him, then I feel like that can all, once you like raise that stuff and then that happens, I think it'll connect more.
Okay.
All right. Very good. Jason, do you have anything that you want? Anything that you want to ask, or
no?
Did you get something from hearing it?
I did. I got a lot from hearing it, and I'm really appreciative to the actors for bringing it to life. And no, I just have some things to work on. Well, as you know, there's a later draft that I've already done, and I was thinking about going back into it. So this was actually great timing before I do the next one. So So thank you all.
All right. Jason, good one, everyone.
Underworked by Aaron Rain. Exterior, warehouse arts building, loading dock night. Karen is staring off into space, holding a cigarette. She sits with Jenna, 20s, 30s, voluptuous but approachable, because they're catering a wedding. They're both wearing white button-up shirts, black pants, and black ties.
Karen, why are you smoking?
I know, it's so gross. But I only ever smoke on catering gigs or after I eat or drink. I mean, I didn't even buy this pack, I just found it by the dumpster. Huh. No, Jenna, I'm just realizing that I have a real addiction.
Best friend, you gotta quit. You're an actor now, and actors' faces are our currency. You can't afford to wrinkle your currency. You're very poor now.
Oh. Rude.
Okay, Mama. We need to get you laid. Did you see that groomsman with the hair swoop thing? If you're gonna be all depressed, at least be all depressed, like, on him.
Yeah, he is pretty cute.
Let's make you fuckable. What do straight guys consider fuckable?
Probably the same thing you do.
Soft butch bird watchers with ear-length hair?
I guess I just meant boobs.
As Jenna helpfully unbuttons Karen's shirt, a fancy man, 30s in a tux, it's his wedding, appears at the loading dock door.
Bartenders, you two having fun at my wedding? Having a nice chat? You want to stay out here, enjoy the air? Or maybe you feel like tending bar, maybe come inside, make the goddamn mimosa my new wife is asking for?
Yes, coming! Asshole.
You can hear you.
Yes, I can. But I am the new Mr. Susan Wrightwood, and you can't bring me down tonight.
Interior event space night. Jenna and Karen stand behind a portable bar. Peter, 30s, cool hair, wry, smug smile, in a black suit or tux, leans on the bar by Karen.
I can't believe you're an actress and a bartender. How versatile.
I'm just surprised you drink so much cherry Coke considering you're a grown man, right? And aren't you a dentist?
Oral surgeon. I'm Peter. Nice suit, by the way.
Karen? Wow, I can't believe we showed up in the same outfit. It's humiliating.
It looks better on you. When's your break?
Oh, this gig's only 3 hours. I don't get it.
Now, her break is now.
Is it my favorite spot in this place? I've been a groomsman in 4 weddings this year here. Have it scoped.
Union rules, gotta take a break. It's cool, I'm not getting a murderer vibe. Bye.
Interior stairwell landing night. Peter leads Karen down some ugly industrial stairs from above onto the landing.
Oh, I can see why you love it. It's so charming, kind of a abandoned warehouse meets shabby chic kind of vibe. It's...
Peter grabs her and, sexy, not scary, pushes her up against the wall.
Private.
They make out. Dialogue is continuous between makeouts.
Ugh, are you smoking?
Yeah, but I only found cigarettes.
What? Gross.
Do you want to stop?
No, but open.
Peter sprays breath spray in Karen's mouth and back to the makeouts.
We gonna do this?
Sex?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She turns around for access. Camera pans down to knee level and we see Karen's pants drop kinda awkwardly, then Peter's, then a condom wrapper. Interior event space night. Jenna is swamped at the bar.
Where's the other bartender?
Oh, she's just taking her union break.
Damn it, I specifically asked for non-union bartenders. Wait, was my brother here a minute ago? Peter?
Fancy man turns and walks away. Other guests are still in line.
Shit, watch the bar for me. Be cool and use the honor system.
Jenna leaps to follow Fancy man. Cherry Coke throw! Interior stairwell night. We only see them from the clothed shoulders up, but Karen and Peter are totally fucking in the stairwell.
I bet you do this all the time on set or whatever. Because you're an actress and you're so horny.
What? No, that would be insanely unprofessional. With this job, I don't care about this at all.
Fancy man runs down the stairwell and as soon as he's within sight of the couple, covers his eyes in horror.
Peter!
Oh, damn, dude.
Oh my god!
Susan is about to cut our wedding cake. You are my best man. You need to disengage and join your family.
Okay, I'll be right there. God.
Fancy man groom walks back up the stairs, still covering his eyes. There's a beat and then...
I can finish in like 90 seconds. Is that cool?
Yeah, it actually is.
She turns around to face him. He breath sprays her again. They go at it. Jenna arrives at the top of the stairs.
Hey, Karen, the groomzilla. Oh my god. I mean, congrats. Yes. Keep doing that.
Jenna, go away.
Sorry, but yay. Okay.
You're right, I'm gone. I'm sorry.
Jenna!
Jenna turns to run up the stairs and makes a horrified face.
Oh God, I saw it. Ugh, dick skin, so weird.
Exterior warehouse arts building night. Jenna and Karen are sharing an almost empty bottle of wine and laughing. Karen smoking.
And I guess I always smoke after sex, too.
I can't believe that happened.
I can't believe I had stair sex.
I can't believe the groom walked in on your stair sex at his own wedding.
I can't believe I boinked the brother of the groom. I'm amazing.
You were until you said boinked. Girl, how are your funds? For real.
Oh, thank you again for covering utilities. I'm still not super used to being a freelance dirtbag, which I guess is what I am. Catering financial planners' weddings and pretending to be a Disney princess at a child's birthday party isn't what I meant when I said I was going to follow my dreams of acting, FYI.
Sweets, remember when I got my equity card and then didn't book another gig for what, 9 months? You can't standardized test your way into being a successful actor. You just keep going.
I just want to be able to do what I love and live off of it. Is that crazy?
Bitch, yes! But you will do it. And I can spot you the electricity bill for as long as you need until then.
Oh, I love you. Thank you. I would die without you. No, literally, because I wouldn't have electricity and I'd trip in the night and I would die. Hey, remember you promised I could borrow your car on Wednesday?
Is it for Lyft again? Because you promised. No more spooge on my upholstery.
Woo! Is that a jumble notification? Yeah. Let me live vicariously through your love life.
Insert a dating app, Jumble. Bumble for the chosen people.
Whatever, stair sex queen. And I actually haven't looked at Jumble in 24 hours because I have a date with someone that I actually met in person. Like a caveman.
Oh, the dog walker?
Yes, and I'm not nervous at all, so let's not jinx it.
She's gonna jinx you, your clit. Jinx.
You're never, ever allowed to have sex with a woman.
Fine. Okay, let's go. I have to pretend to work from home at the coffee shop tomorrow morning because my crush is working.
Karen and Jenna start walking towards Jenna's car.
Wow, you just had stair sex and now you're stalking your coffee crush? Karen, you're being a slut. I love it.
No, I spent my 20s working 80-hour weeks, so I'm gonna spend my mid-30s being completely irresponsible like I should have in my 20s.
Yes, embrace the endless adolescence of the professional artist. Your chariot awaits.
Jenna holds the door to her Honda Fit for Karen. Exterior portion coffee shop, day. A comfy, cozy hipster coffee shop. Interior portion coffee shop. Karen is at the counter at the coffee shop, and Jillian, 20s, cute but type A, in a portion coffee hat and t-shirt is taking her order. There's a male customer, 20s, 40s, business casual attire, briefcase in hand, sad sack demeanor, in line behind Karen.
Could I please get a chai tea and a chocolate chip scone?
Robbie, 20s, 30s, South Asian, handsome, friendly hipster, comes out from the stockroom tying on his apron.
Absolutely.
Oh, hey, Robbie.
Hey, lawyer lady.
It's Karen. I quit the firm a couple years ago to pursue my dreams and stuff. So technically, I'm pursuing my dreams and stuff, lady. That's why I'm always in here working from home.
Dope. What are you working on?
Jillian punches in some stuff on the iPad. Karen pays and moves over to the drink pickup area.
Great question. I'm about to work on that big old scone. Scones are so delicious.
Yeah, I don't do gluten. It fucks with my poop. But Jillian will have that right up for you.
Jillian puts a scone in chai tea on the pickup counter.
Hey, Jillian, your shift's over.
Jillian heads out. Karen stands around like a goon, then finally grabs her drink and food, which have been sitting at the pickup counter. Robbie turns back toward the order counter, and we follow where it's customers' turn.
Can I just get a small Americano?
Nah, man, I'm not a coffee guy.
Robbie checks his phone. Jenna walks into the coffee shop, and we follow her to Karen's table.
Best friend, what are you up to? I'm working from home.
Karen is looking at Robbie's Facebook page.
You mean checking out your crush on Facebook?
Karen gives Jenna shut up eyes, like BFFs do. Then they are briefly distracted by the following sad interaction at the ordering counter.
I come here every morning. I need this, man. I have a huge presentation at work. I'll even just take a drip coffee. Dude, come on, I will pour it myself.
No, man. Yo, I can't break my code of ethics.
Code of ethics? He's so cute, right?
Okay, I'm gonna get a latte.
No, wait, no. I think Robbie thinks coffee is lame and he's already seen us talking. So just...
You're literally insane, but whatever. I just got back from a Kentucky Cluckers audition where I had to be a chicken eating a hamburger. But they did give us real hamburger buns.
Cut away to Jenna eating a hamburger bun like a chicken.
Ooh, bonus lunch.
Oh my gosh, Val is here. My date.
You set up your date here in my place of work?
Karen looks around and spots Val, 20s, 30s, attractive, butch-presenting woman or gender non-conforming person with a hipster vibe.
Duh, for safety, in case I needed you.
Val looks completely harmless and cute.
Have you learned nothing from the multiple Netflix original true crime documentary series that we've binged? You really need to rewatch Tinder Treachery.
Okay, well, if anything remotely odd happens, I'll make sure to fireman carry you to the panic room.
Rewatch it.
I'll come check in at Val's first bathroom break.
Duh.
Jenna heads towards Val, who we see over Jenna's shoulder as Jenna approaches. They shake hands during Val's first line.
Jenna, nice to meet you. You come here a lot?
No, but it turns out my roommate is sort of working here today, so we're definitely going to discuss everything about you as soon as you go to the bathroom.
I'm sorry, not gonna happen. I have mad bladder control.
See? I really admire that in a person. This is going really well.
Okay. I know this sounds weird, but I was kind of nervous before I came here because I was watching this show on Netflix called The
Star-Crossed Lovers Killers. That's like my favorite. Telescope as a murder weapon. So messed up.
So messed up.
This is going well. Cut to Karen looking happy for her friend. Then pan out to customer reaching across the counter toward a cup of coffee. Robbie, without looking up from his phone, picks it up and takes a sip. Spits it out because, well, it's coffee. Interior, Karen and Jenna's apartment night. We see Karen creep into frame and open the door to Jenna's bedroom. Jenna and Val are asleep in bed together. Karen does a silent yes dance, fist pump, side scream. Then,
Jenna, it's Wednesday and it's 4:15. You said I could borrow your car. Jenna, you said.
Oh, I hate you.
But I love you.
Jenna throws her car keys at Karen from the bed.
Ow! Okay, I love you. Bye. Bye, Val. We haven't officially met, but good morning and goodbye.
Interior, Jenna's car, pre-dawn into day. Montage of Karen driving Lyft. A couple making out, probably fingering, someone sharing a milkshake with her dog, a mystery woman, looking brilliant and beautiful. Sahar from episode 2. Then a Wrigleyville bro, 20s, 30s, Cubs gear, good-natured drunk gets in. Karen starts driving, looking at the road, and sometimes at Bronco, aka Wrigleyville bro, in the rear view.
Hey, you're Bronco, right?
Yeah, it's me.
Awesome. Welcome.
I'm so drunk. You okay to drive?
Yeah, Bronco, don't worry, I'm good.
Karen's phone goes ding, and she answers.
Hi, this is Karen.
Hi, Karen. It's Kylie from EEU. I'm sorry, EEW. I emailed you 10 minutes ago, but haven't heard back. We have you scheduled at O'Flannery at 4 p.m. today for a casting for a new pilot. That work for you?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Okay, confirmed by...
Oh, shit.
Dude, you're like an actor or something?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Everything okay?
Yeah, I thought I had shit, but I just peed.
Oh, no, you just peed on the seat?
Oh, no, I peed, but like just on my pants, so we're good. So you're an actor?
Exterior, Chicago street, day. Karen parks the car and Bronco gets out, in whatever way a guy that just peed himself would. Karen sighs, looks at her phone, it's 11 a.m., remembers her pilot audition, picks up and dials.
Okay, I can't believe they won't let you answer the phone while you're in rehearsal. Have they ever heard of emergencies? Like, Jenna, I have my very first TV audition this afternoon, and it's for a pilot. I'm freaking out. Okay, text me when you get this and don't worry about your car.
Interior office building hallway day. We see a door with a sign that reads O'Flannery Casting. Interior casting office camera room day. Karen is in a small room in front of a small camera. We see her just as she has finished to read and is starting to walk out. Carla, 30s, 40s, intense, intelligent, no-nonsense woman of color, and her reader, 20s, bored millennial, are standing just behind the camera.
Great, Karen, thanks so much. You know what, actually, I'd love to see you stick around and read for the defense attorney too, if that's okay with you.
Oh my gosh, of course.
Carla hands Karen sides and Karen glances at them briefly.
Great, just show us you. I know it's a cold read. I'm gonna have you slate and then just go ahead whenever you're ready.
Awesome. Hi, I'm Karen Robertson.
Height.
And I'm 5'4".
Weight.
Oh, I weigh 110 pounds. I mean, 105.
Carly grabs her own hair, mouthing unintelligibly.
And my hair is real. I mean, I'm willing to cut my hair. Dye my hair. I will totally dye my hair. I mean, I won't dye it myself. I will have a professional do that. But if I can expense, can I expense that? I mean, it's fine. I'm happy to pay for it.
Okay, let's start whenever you're ready.
Karen composes herself briefly and begins to read.
Objection, Your Honor. The witness's testimony constitutes libel against my client.
Objection. Interior Municipal Courtroom, Chicago Day flashback.
Your argument is inane.
Interior Casting Office, Camera Room Day, the present.
Karen?
So sorry to stop, but libel is defamation that's written or published as something a witness says out loud could never be libel, because I read case law. It's just I recently used to be a lawyer, so.
It's okay. I love that you're doing all this real lawyer on this, but someone who gets paid to write for TV, probably a white dude, wrote
Carla,
this.
Karen, and the reader knowingly roll their eyes at the mention of a white dude.
Wrote this and they're not here. I just want to cast you or any person with your general build, and even though I can't say it, ethnicity or no offense lack thereof. So one more go.
You're the best. Thank you. Let's go again. Objection, Your Honor. The witness's testimony constitutes libel against my client.
Objection sustained. Interior Municipal Courtroom, Chicago Day flashback.
If you just quietly handed me your little file like a competent attorney.
Interior Casting Office, Camera Room Day, the present.
Thank you, Your Honor. Moving forward, isn't it true that... sorry, it's just that a competent attorney would never make that objection. Libel's on a legal flaw.
Remember, TV lawyer.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Interior Municipal Courtroom, Chicago Day flashback.
This isn't television, in case you hadn't noticed.
Interior Casting Office, Camera Room Day, the present. Carla is about to turn off the camera when Karen just starts talking.
Actually, Your Honor, I do have something further. I call for an immediate dismissal of all charges. You've heard my arguments about the parking lot person, and no one objected. That must mean prosecution has absolutely nothing of substance and probably planted later fluid in my client's car. Under those circumstances, he must be found not guilty this minute to avert certain miscarriage of justice.
Okie dokie. Looks like court is adjourned. Take care.
Karen walks out.
Does she improvise all that?
Yeah, poor thing.
Interior Casting Office, Lobby Day. We see Karen emerge from the door smiling until she closes it behind her, then...
Fuck!
Interior Karen and Jenna's apartment night. Karen walks into the apartment. Jenna on the couch watching Netflix. Karen lays down and puts her head on Jenna's lap.
You okay, best friend? I had lawyer PTSD during my audition, and I'll never work again. And some man peed in front of me. I'm falling apart, and you have it all together, and now you even have Val. Wait, do you like Val? Do you like Val?
Yeah, I really do.
Yay! Oh, that's so good.
I know. It's like, honestly, I'm kind of freaking out because Val wants to keep it casual, but we're going on a date tomorrow with a bunch of their cool friends. And it's our 5th date.
Oh my god, becoming a couple date. Best friend, Val obviously wants that too. Nobody really wants to keep it casual. That's just something people say to seem cool. Oh god, you're gonna fall in love and move out and live with Val, and then I'll have to buy a cat or a ferret or a Roomba for companionship.
BFF, your ringtone on my phone is the Law and Order bum bum. So whenever I hear bum bum, I'll know it's you. And I'll answer the phone. And you can always talk to me because I love you. Now let's be quiet. And watch Urban Hillbilly Stalkers Volume 3.
Karen's phone goes ding and she looks.
Holy crapping fuck! I'm on hold for that lawyer pilot.
Oh my god! Maybe now you can buy your own new used car.
And my own groceries! Food!
Karen's phone goes ding again.
Holy shit! She says the executive producer wants a meeting with me. What if my character has multiple episodes? What if I have an actual character arc?
Character arc! Every actor's dream!
I have to figure out my outfit.
Karen gets up and starts to leave the room.
Don't! Here are your keys.
We hear the keys being thrown and landing on Jenna.
Ow!
Love you, good night.
Interior Karen and Jenna's apartment, pre-dawn. Karen creeps into frame and opens the door to Jenna's bedroom. We don't see Jenna, just a dark room.
Car time, Jay. Why did I even give your keys back? It's for my TV meeting, and I do that stupid princess party thing in the burbs first. And can you come look at my outfit for the meeting? My agent emailed me at 3 a.m. to make sure I wasn't gonna dress like a THOT. I had to look that up on UrbanDictionary.com. It's pronounced thought. Oh!
Karen is hit by the keys thrown from Jenna's bed.
Ow, thank you.
Exterior suburban house day. We see balloons tied to the mailbox and a sign reading, Happy Birthday, Pensley. Karen, in a knockoff Cinderella costume, knocks on the door. Lydia, 30s, 40s, suburban mom, wearing a Cinderella costume and an inside-out sash that says runner-up on the other side.
Hi, I'm Karen, your glass slipper party princess.
Lydia, still standing in the doorway. Bob, 30s, 40s, nervous-looking suburban dad, approaches, smiling from behind Lydia.
You must be
Oh, no, I'm your glass slipper party princess. We got a cease and desist from you-know-who. Once I'm inside, you can call me whatever you want.
Right. Well, Pensley is so excited you're here. Come on, Lydia, let's show her the party room.
Lydia turns on her heel without speaking and walks inside.
My wife's a little myth that Pensley insisted on a real princess for her birthday. Lydia did pageants.
Insert of a bunch of pictures of Lydia doing child beauty pageants.
Oh, if you don't need me, I really do not need to.
We paid hundreds of dollars for this. Let's go, princess.
Lydia turns and walks inside, followed by Bob.
Hundreds? I'm netting like $30 after taxes.
Karen hurries after Bob. Interior suburban home day. Karen walks into the party, sets down her bag, and is surrounded by kids, ages 4 to 6. The birthday girl is Pensley, 4 to 6, spoiled, wearing the only princess outfit. And her friends are dressed up like woodland creatures. One is dressed like Gus Gus, the fat mouse from Disney's Cinderella.
Cinderella princess! Oh, what a delightful group of forest creatures we have here now. Who is the party princess? Who's the birthday princess?
A dream is a wish your heart makes when you're fast asleep.
Should I go?
How about you step up your game? Maybe a little song and dance. We're paying you.
Why, you must be Pensley. It's your birthday today, and that's why I've come to visit. Oh, what a lovely dress.
She may be Cinderella's daughter. That's a fake princess. I wanted to be Elsa from Frozen.
But I'm Cinderella, and Elsa wasn't Cinderella's daughter, was she? She was an orphan girl.
Wait a second. If she's Cinderella, who are you?
Well, I'm also Cinderella. It's a relatively common name where we're from. You see, I'm all dressed up for the ball.
Really? Well, if you're Princess Cinderella, why aren't you friends with mice and the birds like me?
Lydia has affixed fake birds and mice to her fingers and shoulders.
Why, the birds and the mice are my dearest friends. Hello, little one, you're looking well. Oh, what's that? You hope Pensley is having the happiest bird day of all time? Why, so do I.
Lydia pulls the bird away from Karen and listens to it.
Oh no, that's not what the bird said at all. My darling bird friend begged for sanctuary, for she fears this imposter.
Wait, friends, if I wasn't the real Cinderella, how would I have this? Who would like to hold my fairy godmother's magic wand?
Why do you have fairy godmother's wand? Did you steal it?
Hey, which of you is the real Cinderella?
It has to be her, that one. Doesn't even have boobs like a real princess.
You gotta be kidding me.
You're a fake Cinderella.
Fake
You like fake
news. Stop it! Well, you got me. I'm not Cinderella, and I think princess culture is pretty toxic. Dreams? They don't even come true. And I don't even want this job, and I don't need it. I mean, technically I do, but also kids, mice, and birds carry disease. Do not touch them. And no way she's the real Cinderella. Her sash says runner-up. Cinderella would have won because she's fucking Cinderella!
Karen does a mic drop with the fairy godmother wand. Kids and Lydia continue to sit in stunned silence. Karen comes back in.
Can I change in your bathroom? I have an important meeting right after this. No, fine. Nope, that's a Cinderella change in a pumpkin or whatever I can change in the back seat of a Honda Fit. Here, Hensley. This magic wand is your birthday present. Think of me fondly in 20 years when you're telling the story in court-ordered therapy.
Karen re-sachets away. Exterior Jenna's car day. Karen searches the car frantically. There's clearly nothing in it because Jenna keeps it neat.
Where's my change of clothes?
Cut away to her bag on the floor of the suburban house where the kids are tearing into it like it's fucking Lord of the Flies.
No! My agent is gonna murder me.
Phone goes ding.
Hello? He needs to move the meeting up, so I need to be there in 15? Yeah, yep, okay, heading there now.
Karen hangs up and gets in the car, looks at herself in the rear view.
Well, I definitely don't look like a thought.
Exterior Cinespace or River North office building. Karen is rushing up into the building. She has tried to make the princess outfit work. The wig is off, and maybe she's done something to the sleeves or torn some parts off to make it look modern or like real clothes. It doesn't. Interior conference room. Karen is sitting in an office across the desk from Track. 20s, 40s, douchey, slickly handsome, in an expensive t-shirt and more expensive blazer. The showrunner for Untitled Track Mayor Legal Drama. Track talks fast.
Thanks so much for seeing me today.
Neat dress, babe. Oh, and so you know, baby isn't gendered. It's what I call everybody. My mom, my dad, my guy lawyer, my gal doctor, my guide dog, but never babies. Too close to home. So don't hashtag me.
Totally, but anyway, Mr. Mayor, I love this script.
Call me Track, because when you work with me, you go on a ride.
Like, on a go-kart track.
Yes, she gets it. And I know you hate my script because casting had me on a one-way Skype feed during the auditions, and I saw you tear me a new pie hole. But I like that. I don't see it as too many pie holes. I see it as twice as many ways to eat pie. So I think we should work together.
I love pie.
Fantastic. So listen, I'm interested in bringing you on.
Oh my gosh! Wow, thank you so much. So, not to be presumptuous.
Presumption is what you do, and I'm all about it. More ways to eat pie.
Right. So does this mean you're expanding the role of the Swamp Killer's defense attorney, or are you looking at me for something else, or?
Oh, what? No. We want to bring you on as a legal consultant. It'll make the season super legit.
Oh, okay. Play like a jury consultant or something.
What? No, behind the scenes, babe, to answer law questions. Your audition was good, but I really don't buy you as a lawyer looks-wise. I just want your legal skills. Look, gotta take this. Never hire an assistant off Tinder.
Track gestures for Karen to get out. She leaves in a daze. Interior Val's apartment day. We hear keys in the door, hear the door open.
Oh, I'm really drunk.
We hear the door close. Val and Jenna enter the living room.
You really are. I guess that's why they call it happy hour. How about I call you a lift? No, I'll stay here. I'm hunkin' drorny. Get it? You're gonna get it. Okay, I'm getting you a lift. I'm not real drorny right now, to be honest. It's 5:45 in the afternoon and you're wasted.
Val picks up cell phone and taps away.
But like, it's our 5th date anniversary. We're a couple now, so it's okay to have sex with me. No matter what, it's the law. Oh, that is not the law, and we're not a couple. What? Well, I've been saying I only wanted something casual, right? I say it every time I see you. But our 5th date? Becoming a couple? Okay, look, maybe this isn't a good situation for either of us. Let me get this straight. You won't have sex with me when I'm drunk, but you'll break up with me when I'm drunk? How does that even make sense? One is good and the other one is bad, asshole. I'm honestly gonna send you some links about consent culture tomorrow, but your lift is here now. Well, guess what? I do not consent to your lift. I have my own friends who drive my own cars. Mic drop.
Jenna walks into the coat closet and slams the door behind her.
Jenna, that's the closet. Duh! I have to get my coat. You didn't bring a coat. No.
Interior Jenna's car day.
You don't look like a lawyer, so we want to hire you to be a lawyer. I am a lawyer, so that is what I look like. Fuck! I was a lawyer. I had a career. I used to look like a lawyer.
Karen screams to the steering wheel.
Ah!
Can I take your order?
Cut to a shot establishing that Karen is in the drive-thru at Sonic. Then back to Karen in the car.
Yes. Large fries? No. 2 large fries, a giant Coke, and a huge fucking milkshake. I don't care what flavor.
Ma'am, when people say that we're supposed to call a special hotline, we also have a counselor on staff.
Just naked cookies and cream. Really? On staff? Way to go, Sonic.
Interior Jenna's car day, a little later. Karen is smoking and eating fries and a milkshake. Phone goes ding.
Hello? On my way. No, I'm not smoking in your car.
Karen looks between the fries and her cigarette a few times, then throws out the cig, stuffs fries in her mouth, and wrenches the car into gear. Interior Jenna's car day. Karen is in the driver's seat in her Cinderella costume. Jenna is in the passenger seat holding a Sonic bag and Karen's milkshake. They're both eating fries.
Can't believe I booked my first TV gig and it's not a TV gig.
I hate when things aren't the things they're supposed to be. God. Now I really understand what the star-crossed lover killers went through.
This business is insane. And I used to work at a big law firm where cocaine addiction is considered a healthy coping mechanism. But at least there are rules. I just want to work. Of course, being famous would be amazing, obviously, but being able to make a living doing what I love is what I care about. And sure, yes, okay, I love to be famous, but that is not what I'm talking about right now. God, if that meeting gone slightly differently, I could be famous!
Apparently, Val told me from the start, you're not my girlfriend, but that's still not how I want it to be.
Right? Like, this feels like just like the last straw, and I'm basically just starting. Ugh! The man's name is Track, and he has more power over my life and career than I do. He has his Tinder assistant text me a contract. No, sir. I'm good, and I am better and smarter than all those stupid face fucks at stupid track mayor entitled legal drama.
Yowza. So you're not gonna take the job? I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, well, I mean, technically I e-signed the contract, but I mean, that's just so I can pay you back for the utilities and then I'll reevaluate. Fuck that, I'll probably still do it.
Well, money moves. You make some, and that's okay. Good night.
Jenna passes the fuck out. Karen pats Jenna's head.
You know what? Good idea, best friend.
Karen cuddles up to Jenna, who cuddles Karen back in her sleep.
Love you. Love you, best friend.
Love you, best friend.
Pan out to show that they are still in the Sonic parking lot, but in a parking spot rather than the drive-thru. Tight shot of Karen and Jenna sleeping. We hear knocking, and
Ma'am?
Karen opens one eye at a time and sees a Sonic employee knocking on the driver's side window, holding a box of Kleenex and a clipboard.
Ma'am, I'm just here to listen and maybe offer some tools for your emotional toolbox.
Sonic is counselors on staff now. So.
Really? Way to go, Sonic.
And that is the end of 30 minutes.
Do you want to go first or you want me to?
You can go this time.
All right.
Let's change it up.
Well, I don't know. It's fun hearing things because you can hear when it's overwritten.
Yeah.
And when scenes are like, oh, it should end there. Oh, it's still going.
Yeah.
Did you get that?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few times.
That's one of the lovely things about live reads is that you can be like, this is really working. It should stop now.
Yeah.
And so you can kind of see, but when you're reading it on the page, you're like, oh, but that joke's funny. I'm just going to keep that in there. Or if I just go, I'll just do that. And then when you hear it, it's like, oh yeah. So you got that. So I don't need to say that, although I just did. There's one thing that bothers me about this script. I thought this script was really fun. There's one thing that really bothers me. My number one thing that bothers me is that it's all about Karen, and poor old Jenna doesn't get much to do at all. And even when she breaks up with Val, Karen gives her zero sympathy, and so it's like you're really risking making Karen look completely narcissistic, and it's like, why do I care about her?
Yeah.
Everything is about her, and even when her best friend is, has had her own shit, and so it's like, are they a friendship, or is Jenna like an enabler?
Yeah.
And so it's like I wanted them to be more equal.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, my wife is an ex-lawyer who's not an actor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she quit
We
after.
should talk.
Yeah.
You're an excellent.
I am.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She quit after like 20 years.
Oh, I quit after 1 year.
Oh, wow. you probably made the smarter decision. Okay. But yeah, and then obviously it went off on tangents. I mean, I think the Cinderella thing, funny, ish, and good characters and lots of fun with the kids and stuff. But it was sort of gilding the lily in terms of her character. Like she'd already said a ton of times, and also when you have the character repeating their dream in the same 30 pages where she says, I just want to do what I love. She said that twice. She probably doesn't even need to say it once, but if you are going to have her say it, once would be an absolute limit. She doesn't need to say it again, because we get it. So I wouldn't have minded, like you've got this really interesting character, and it's fun and you write well. I mean, there's lots of great gags in there and lots of wacky scenes and stuff, and some balance with the relationships. I'm a big believer in, I run a workshop where we talk about emotional connection, because I read a lot of scripts and lots of stuff happens to characters and you very rarely get to really see how they feel, and it drives me crazy. And so I tried to start a workshop to try and help writers to do that. By the way, our next one's coming up if you want. Because it's like all this stuff happens to her and it's all this sort of, it'd be really nice if there was a moment where she was real, where she was like a person. And we could see that she's taken on this enormous risk and she's doing something and it's failing. And there's and it's funny how many times I write and say this, like even when you watch Friends, a show like any kind of sitcom, there are moments where they get really real. And a lot of writers in the early stages of drafts of sitcoms, I've done it as well, where you kind of forget that part. Yeah. It's like, I need to make them laugh all the time. They need to be laughing. Yeah. It's like, no, you can take a moment and have her be real. She could be calling her mum and lying through her teeth about how well everything is, or however you want to do it. But just some humanity in there would be really great. Would really counteract all that stuff. And then, I'm sorry, I'm going on. But then the one thing too, because it also made her character, she shifted around. At one point she was like a vacuous airhead who's fucking a dude in a thing. And then she's, I'm a smart lawyer, why aren't they doing this? And then she was back to being vacuous, sort of, so it was like, that's okay, I suppose. But I just wasn't 100% sure of which Karen, what version of Karen I was supposed to really latch onto to watch, sort of week to week. But yeah, that was sort of my main, I just wanted it to be, like I think it can be more sort of focused in the next draft, because I know it's early on. So you're off to a really great start. I really do. So now I'm going to shut up.
Thank you. That's so helpful.
I have nothing to say. No. Well, I agree with a lot of what he said, and I would start with the grounding thing, because I think, sometimes when you're trying to work the comedy too hard, you get lost in, the characters get lost.
Yeah.
And your characters are funny and you write funny jokes, and you should trust that a little more, because, and that piggybacks onto the overwriting point where I think a lot of times in comedy there's so much that can be said with one joke, and sometimes not even a line, but a reaction, and comedy's so profoundly strong that way that I think you should trust your sense of humor more, and you don't have, although, like if I got this as a sample, I would say, oh my God, this woman can write jokes, and that's really great, and you've got it, and the characters, but they're not as grounded as they could be. The other thing is, I just didn't feel like it had a story engine for a while. I was like, well, what is this about? When is this starting? I don't know if you meet that whole catering sex scene. I wasn't sure what we were saying, why she's doing it. I didn't think it necessarily set up their relationship. It's really hard. And as a sample, I think this is good, but to sell a show about actors is...
I know, right.
It's like the first don't.
Totally,
Don't come in and go, I want to make a show about wanting to be an actor, because everyone will go like, no thank you. But so just to know, as a sample, I think it's a great showcase, but as an advice for if you want to get in the game of selling your own ideas, probably stay away from show business.
Okay, great.
But that as an aside, because this is a good script, I think that I didn't feel like that catering scene, it just slowed me down. I'd rather see them in their life, in their apartment. I mean, I get that actors are caterers or sometimes, but what if they're just leaving? What if they're just closing up for the night?
Yeah.
And that's how you start your story, and they were catering. I wasn't sure why she had to fuck the guy and the guy to see him, and these people don't come back. And I didn't feel like the engine was there for a long time, and I want to know, okay, well, what is this episode about? So this episode is about, it's two things. You have an A story and a B story. You have Karen, who's going for her first audition, and she gets waylaid, and she supplements her career, her also not only by bartending, but also by being a Disney princess, which I'll get to. And two, Jenna has met someone she really, really likes.
Right.
And so now we know what these, maybe you can even do a little more like Jenna's looking for love and Karen's looking for a career, and maybe that can come out in their initial conversation. Because I wasn't sure at the beginning why Karen was off just having sex with a stranger. And then the Cinderella thing I think could work if it was shorter. And my thought was, because the mother, it's really funny, the competition. I think the mother thing is just, I didn't believe it. And then I thought if they double booked and two princesses showed up.
That's funny.
And then it comes to, then it's like a fuck you bitch face off, you know? And then Karen loses it. I thought that I would believe that more, and I think the comedy would really be funny, because it's just like
an out Cinderella.
They're both like desperate. And I just think you could play more on what this is about. Than the psycho weird mother, which is funny, but took me out of it a little bit.
That makes sense.
And
also too, you want to use that opportunity to reveal more about Karen's character too. Right?
Absolutely.
It's an opportunity rather than just a set piece, you know.
And then Track to me was a little too heightened in terms of a real person. He was like a little too Hollywood cliche as opposed to like. So then you're stepping into parody a little bit there, as opposed to like, oh no, the writer who says, I thought you were great. Right. So he's the scruffy writer, whatever.
Sure.
I thought you were great.
Yeah.
I want to hire you.
Okay.
And kind of maybe keep it more in the real world and in the heightened world, and that again goes back to showing the vulnerability, like. Funny is so often like a cover for vulnerability, so it's kind of finding that balance where you break the character open just a little bit to see the person, and then close her back up again. And that's what good comedies do, because then they make you relax and you see something, and then they make you laugh really fast after. So that you never quite get to indulge in it, but you still understand it. So, so I think tighter, less verbiage, and you don't have to reveal as much about them.
They don't just say everything.
And it's so you have good sort of that kind of dialogue, but I think it's working too hard almost. You need to almost relax a little bit and let just some real people comments sneak through. Cool. That's what I would say.
So helpful.
What would Erin do? I mean, given that there's no market for a show about actors, so
I think as a sample, people want originals as a sample, and they're not necessarily judging premise so much. They're judging your comedic timing, your structure. Structurally, this is where I think it's weaker more than comedically. And that's just having it tight and having that engine get going. Like, I have an audition tomorrow. I gotta go home. We gotta go home from the bar, whatever. Just set us up so we understand. It's a little random right now. And then, or she doesn't have an audition, but whatever, tomorrow after, whatever it is. I just felt like, but I think it's okay, but I would say in the future, try to write you know, transpose the characters. I know it helps to write about yourself, but it's really hard to sell show business ideas.
Totally makes sense.
And everybody just, because 90% of people that come here are either trying to be a writer or an actor, and their first and most genuine, visceral experience is the unfairness and the rejection and the difficulty of navigating show business.
Right.
So it becomes very real, and I think transposing that frustration into some other sort of world is probably going to serve you better.
Plus page 1 of the screenwriting book is write what you know.
Yeah,
and
but
which is like, yeah, but if all you
I-
know is showbiz and getting fucked over by showbiz.
But it's just a little bit hard. It's always an obstacle in selling.
That makes sense.
Thoughts, comments from anybody? Yes, Val.
I think the dialogue's really funny, but I do think sometimes it slipped into expositional.
Yeah.
You had characters say either what they've just done or what they were about to do in a way that felt more service of informing the audience than the way someone would actually speak.
Yeah.
That's just something I picked up on.
Thank you.
Also, I did not realize originally that Val and Jenna had already been dating. Like when she was introduced, it seemed like that they'd just met.
I think that was a timeline problem because that was their first time meeting.
Okay.
And then it was like time passes, and then they have their 5th date.
Okay.
So that was sort of a structural issue, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So I wondered, it made me curious in your head, like exactly how high the stakes are for Jenna on losing this relationship.
Yeah.
Like she's like, I really like her. I really, really like her. Like, do we get to see any of that? Like, why does she like her? What's she like about her? And if we're worried about Karen and Jenna not connecting as much, then like maybe we see some of that. I don't know, but those were things I wondered about.
Yeah, you had a big time jump there that we weren't really tracking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she did say she really liked her, and then when she got blown off, she seemed to just kind of wander off.
Yes.
Really, and go to Sonic. It wasn't really a...
Sonic is great.
Yeah.
That could be in any show in any industry. No, just that Sonic with the counselor. You can shove that. They can be anything, but that's a good bit.
The final emotional toolbox joke is really fun.
And the mic drop thing with Jenna was really good. There's a lot of funny stuff in that.
Thank you.
Yes.
So talking about vulnerability with this character, I felt like we didn't quite get the gravity of her change in lifestyle. And so I think that if you're looking for opportunities to mine that, it's embarrassing to go from working a corporate gig to then be a waiter or whatever. And so there's opportunities to sprinkle that in a little bit, I think.
As much as I hate pitching, you could have that scene and it's a wedding and someone from her law firm is there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And then you're revealing her fall from grace without having her to reveal it. It's just like, Karen, what are you doing here?
Totally.
Giving me my mimosa. Weren't you giving me my brief last week?
Yeah.
But I don't pitch though, so that's...
I pitched one too. So.
Yeah, okay. All right, good. Okay. Anyone else? Oh, no. All right then. We've nailed it so effectively.
Thank you so much.
Great job.
Wait. Stop the clapping. Is there anything that you... No, we always ask
hasn't earned it.
Yeah, she hasn't earned it yet. Is there anything that you want from us? Anything that you...
I'm very grateful. I was so excited to see the actors say these words, even though I'm going to cut a lot of them now. But you guys did an amazing job. I'm really grateful for that, and this has just been very helpful. So yeah.
Is this the first time you've heard it out loud?
It's the second.
Second time?
I had some friends read it in Chicago.
How did it compare with friends reading in Chicago?
Well, I think that this was since
we'll cut this out of the video.
They were no, truly like having mostly strangers, like I know Lindsay, but like mostly strangers read it is really impactful in a very different way. And none of them know my voice comedically, like all the other friends I've improvised with for years or whatever. So hearing it, like the thing I love about collaborating between writers and actors, having that actually happen with my work, where they interpreted it their own way, was like really exciting, and also let me hear those problems better, I think, because it was like, oh, this is
on me because they're killing it. And they killed it in Chicago too.
No, yeah.
But like truly having I think having strangers do it really makes a difference. Yeah.
Cool. All right, now we can clap, Mary. So what I normally do with the Q&A is I start with your path into the industry, because everybody here is probably looking for that path. So
There's no straight path. That's the sad story for everyone, or a great story. So whatever your path is equally legitimate, because people always ask me like, how do you do it? And I'm like, there's not like first you do this, then you do that, then you do that. It's just super random. It's a combination of timing, luck, right place, right time.
So what was yours?
I got to work at MTV when it was cool.
When they had music
videos, and that was my first career thing. I had a job before that at public television in New York, where I worked with avant-garde filmmakers in like non-linear, really video installations and some, pretty crazy stuff, which ended up weirdly being kind of the precursor to music video, which became an art form out of it. So I never even connected those things, but so I was very much in like the downtown New York scene, and I was very young, and and we gave grants to artists, video artists, and I PA'd for all of them because they had no money. So I just would say, what do you want? What do you need? I'll work for you for free, because I knew I wanted to work in production. And they said, yeah. And we didn't have, we had typewriters, and we typed scripts. I typed the script on carbon paper, and then I run to the Kinko's, and I did whatever needed to be done for them, and I learned a lot. I was on a lot of sets, and then I got a job at MTV, which was really just starting to emerge, and it was definitely right place, right time, because there were all these young people working there, and it just sort of blew up with us in it, and we suddenly were handed tons of responsibility that typically you wouldn't have at that age. But there was I always said it was like a Peanuts cartoon. There were no grown-ups, like your bosses were your age. It was just like, go make a show. And so we did everything, and as the network developed, it got into scripted and just everything. And so I was writing, editing, directing. There wasn't like you didn't go hire someone, you just did it. So it was sort of, I learned a lot more than I realized I learned. And I had done this little shitty comedy show. It was funny, but it was really low budget, scripted comedy show. And someone in LA saw it, and everyone in LA thought that everyone who worked at MTV knew something, because MTV was the coolest thing. So we were all kind of idiots in our 20s doing a lot of extracurricular illegal things and in the 80s, and they were like, we need those MTV people. So it was just really like total right place, right time. So I got hired to produce a series for NBC, and that was kind of a big deal at the time, and I just said okay, and really didn't know what I was doing, and came out here, and suddenly I realized that you have to get a union person you don't make the props yourself anymore. It was sort of like, oh, you need an elephant? You pick up the phone, you say, I need an elephant, and someone shows up, and it was kind of crazy. Was out here and just kind of producing a lot of comedy. I kind of fallen into comedy. And then my old boss from MTV became the CEO of a brand new network called Comedy Central that had nothing. And he called me up and said, I don't have anyone in LA. They were New York based. Will you run the LA office? And I had just had my first kid, and I was like, yeah, that sounds great, actually. And because there's not that much to do, I was like, perfect. And so just totally coincidentally, my first week, I bought the South Park short, which had just come out as a
It was the
viral
Santa thing?
Yeah.
Right, the Christmas thing?
So I was like, this is funny, let's put this on. I was like, literally had nothing. And there's a long story around that. But anyway, that worked out, and suddenly Comedy Central
just a little.
was on the map. And that's not the kind of thing is going to work out. That's just really luck. It's like a sense that, okay, well, there's something here, let's go with it. But you can't possibly know that that's going to be that. There's just no way.
Can we walk through that a little bit? Because they put out a videotape, right?
Yeah, so what happened was when I started working at Comedy Central, it was in January, and that Christmas, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, this guy named Brian Graydon, commissioned, he knew them, and they were just out of film school, and he commissioned them to make a 5-minute video Christmas card. There was no computers, like you couldn't go watch something on a computer. So it was literally a viral VHS. So they made this short, and it got passed around Hollywood like crazy, and everyone was dubbing it, and George Clooney apparently saw it and made like, go make 350 VHS tapes of this and give it to everyone. So it was sort of like the thing that, and this woman named Pam Brady, who's a brilliant comedy writer, who's a friend of mine, who was one of the first, but she wasn't really a known comedy writer yet. She was one of the first people I called Comedy Central, and I was like, oh, Pam, we should do something. And she said, well, you should watch this. And I watched it, and I was like, she goes, I have their number. And I'm like, okay, I'll call them. So,
but other people were calling them, presumably, were they, or not? Or
yeah,
was it like...
sort of. So ended up, yes, people were calling them about other things, not about
So you called them.
I called them up.
You're on the phone with Trey and Matt.
And then I said, come in, I liked your short. And then
and how were they? They were a couple of knuckleheads?
They just graduated.
Right.
They were never knuckleheads, but they were scared. Like, they came in the office and they had all the characters cut out in little Ziploc bags, and they had it all kind of figured out, because the short is just a couple of the kids. And they were like, this is, Mrs. Crabtree, and she's going to be the bus driver, and this is Chef, and he works in the cafeteria, and they kind of had it all. And I said, okay, cool. Why don't you guys... So I said, why don't you write a script? I said, I'll pay you to write a script. And they said, okay, well, we have a script. And I said, okay, well, why don't you let me read the script? And then they said, okay, we'll send it to you. And I go, okay, great. Again, no PDFs, like you got to give someone a script back then. So they didn't show up with the script. I'm calling them, leaving messages. There's like 200 people's names on the voicemail. This is like, they were probably 22 years old. So I was like, this is Debbie from Comedy Central. Well, finally I get this call from Matt. Yeah, the script, it's in our friend Jason's car. I'm like, okay, well, good. Well, you want to get out of Jason's car? Well, Jason's on his way to Denver. and like, no one had cell phones. So like, you couldn't call Jason. So we have to wait till Jason gets to his mom's house in Denver, and then he's going to mail it to us. I said, so do you have a copy of it? No, Jason has it. So anyway, that was the anal probe episode. So I got that. In the meantime, they started taking other meetings, because somebody said, oh, well, if you have interest here. And then they went to MTV and Fox and da-da-da. And then my boss, who was like, kind of, yeah, maybe we'll do this, started getting hungry. This is a great Hollywood thing. Like, as soon as someone else wants it, everybody goes, I want it, even if they don't like it. Somehow so it came down to a little bit of a wooing situation, but I somehow convinced them that I was, I got what they were trying to do. And so they said, okay. And so the first episode was the anal probe episode. So we worked on the script for a while, and it needed some work. And then they went off to make it, and they made the whole episode out of construction paper, so it took 6 months. And I was like, okay, well, if this ever is a series, how are we gonna do it? So then they they did it and it came back and we tested it and it didn't test very well, and then my boss was like, I don't know, didn't test great. I don't know if these guys can write that much more. Maybe they only got one in them, which is so funny, considering like they are the most prolific people I've ever encountered. But at the time, you wouldn't know that either. They were untested. So he said, write 3 more scripts. So Matt and Trey, we came out of that meeting and they said they got a check minus on their exam, and they were really depressed because they got a check minus. And they went off and wrote 3 more episodes. And then I think I actually said to my boss, there's nothing else. Like, we don't have anything. So you have to say yes. You have to make this show. And he said okay. And anyway, it worked out. So it was fun. And so anyway, so then Comedy Central sort of blew up, and then I was there for a long time, and I ended up running the network for a number of years and oversaw all the programming. And then I loved that job. And then I was able to produce the movie Bigger, Longer, Uncut with Trey and Matt, and basically needed to figure out, because Paramount, it was tricky because Paramount wanted a PG-13. We were like, that's impossible.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like trying to protect the characters so that the franchise could live on beyond the movie. So that was sort of a tricky thing. And then I got hired. So I think because of that, my comedy, someone at Fox, someone told the people at Fox Movie Studio that, like, about me, and said, you know, there's this woman, she's really good with comedy, and you guys suck at comedy. And they used to be really good at comedy, and then it all went to shit. And so they hired me to come in as a film executive, and I was the comedy person there for a lot of years and did some really big movies, including Borat. And I did know you existed because I helped create the fake company that you worked for.
Yes, you did. The 2 fake companies, yeah.
America Productions, or what was it
We
called?
had a backup one as well. Something Hill or something Farms or something.
So that was really a great, fun adventure. And actually, Trey and Matt brought me that movie. So way before, were you there for the Todd Phillips part?
Yes,
of it?
I was.
Okay.
I was in West Virginia.
Oh yeah, right. That's where. Okay. So wait,
Todd
we
Phillips,
talked about that.
Yes,
talked
we
about
did.
that. Okay.
Todd Phillips
Trey
was the
and
original
Matt
director
first,
of Borat.
but before that was Trey and Matt. So Trey and Matt called me and said,
They were attached first, were they?
we love Sacha Baron Cohen. We want to do a movie with him. We love this character Borat. We have an idea. And Trey and Matt and Sacha all came in with Jay Roach and sold it to me. And I said, yeah, totally, we're doing this. And then this is just a really interesting little thing. And then Trey and Sacha went to go write it together. And then Matt called me and goes, Trey and Sacha shouldn't be writing together because they're both like such auteurs. So Matt said, we're going to step off and let Sacha do it. And no, you know, all like still really good friends, but just like those two couldn't get through a script together. And knowing Sacha, you would know that would probably an inevitability. And so that's when we went and we started rethinking the whole thing as a reality thing, and we got Todd and all.
Oh, it was going to be fully scripted, like
It
a
was
fully scripted Borat. Right.
And then,
Right.
but there's a lot more stories about that. But anyway, I was at Fox for a long time, and I was the comedy girl, or lady, or whatever we call
person.
Comedy person.
Executive?
Thank you.
Executive.
Okay, and then I went from there, and I ran a genre division at Fox called Fox Atomic, and then I went to Universal, where I oversaw a bunch more movies, and then I was really tired of working at movie studios, and I became a producer again, and I partnered with Ben Stiller for 5 years, and we did a lot together, and now I have a TV company with Sam Raimi, and I produce a lot of comedy independently of Sam, because we like to do darker, scarier things. on the TV side, and that's the story. Don't
Good night, everyone.
Good.
No, so you've seen a lot. How has the industry evolved in your mind?
Well, I would say the film industry has gone like, really, those movies, that I made would not get made today. I don't think on a studio level. You could kind of squeeze out little risky things and try stuff then, and then they like have the amount of films they made. So like our studio was making like 35 movies a year, and then suddenly it was like 15, and they all have to be tentpoles and huge and 5 stars, and and you see what comes out, and then everything else is relegated to the specialty market or the indie market, or now Netflix. But I was really not the big tentpole studio exec. I was much more,
right,
into more original content. So I think the movies that I was involved with, a lot of them would probably be really impossible to make. And I just think that it's a really hard time for them, for that business, because people aren't going the same way. So I've seen that change a lot, and
but TV's changed a lot too.
and TV is amazing, and also now almost like it's almost split into so many factions that I think it's gonna start condensing back together, because you get a script and you go, okay, where are we gonna sell this? And the list is like this long of places you have to drive to around LA to pitch it. But I think, it's gotten a lot better, and it's gotten riskier TV, and I think it's just, given writers and actors, and directors a lot of free reign that got lost in the studio system, that the studio system for movies used to offer. But now that broadcast is kind of taking a back seat, and the real character-driven, which is great for writers, great for actors, formats, any length, any period, any place, it has really made it so possible, I think, for people to try original things. And I still think people always want, no matter what the platform is, they always want good storytelling, good characters, or funny stuff, or scary stuff, but they want, hopefully that's one thing we can hold on to in these times is, human stories.
Right.
Or really good animal stories are good too.
So does that mean that the writers wanting to break in should give up writing feature scripts?
No, I don't think so at all. I think there'll always be them. I just think the distribution platforms change so much. But look, I don't know if you're gonna get like, a Midnight Run made so easily today or something like that. I just don't know that those movies, I don't think there's a place for them. So certainly if you're writing big tentpole movies, everything swings back. So if somebody will eke out, oh, we did it for $35 million and it made, $700 billion, and then everyone's gonna go, oh my God, we need a puppy movie. But it takes one to break out before everybody gets back on. But things do tend to swing back.
But TV people will look at a feature script if they're looking at a writer, right? Or would they?
Oh yeah.
As a sample or
Yeah. I think the tricky part is if you run a show or not as a TV writer, because a TV writer, a screenwriter, if they've never written an ongoing series, it's a different animal. So a lot of places, cable and streaming places, are more generous about letting a creative person run with it. Broadcast networks and some places like HBO and Showtime, they probably are going to look for a showrunner, because they're spending so much money and they don't want someone who's going to get mired in the process. And
So-
some people do that.
So you get pitched. I mean, you presumably look for writers to join to attach to. Then you go out and do the selling and the pitching.
Yeah.
And so,
Mhm.
so what do you look for when you're looking for?
Well, it
a
depends. I
writer?
mean, if it's an adaptation of something that already exists, I'm looking for a certain voice and somebody who has a vision and a take for how, like if it's book and you want it turned into a TV show, well, how does it live beyond the pages of the book? How does that character live? What is the essence or the theme of the book, and then how are we turning that into something else? So that would be a different conversation than somebody whose voice I like, you know, a really funny writer who comes in and you go, oh my God, you're really, really funny. What other ideas do you have? And then they tell you, you know, and then I usually ask them a lot of questions. And you end up getting down to like, oh, well, my aunt does this really weird thing where she, you know, is obsessed with reptiles. And you're like, what? And then I actually, it's almost like a therapy session with comedy. And I just start kind of pulling it. And then I go, why are you writing about that instead of this ballet school? You know, like, that's interesting. So I ask a lot of questions and try to like help people hone in on kind of what, and some people just naturally know, but some people want to avoid the thing that's the most obvious thing they should be writing about.
But I know just from what I've been doing here is that this idea, there is a myth among writers throughout the world that I'm only one good script away from success. Like the old bartender myth where it's like I wrote my script when I had downtime in my shift and it's the first thing I've written and here it is. It goes on and becomes, you know, fantastically huge. And then they don't want to hear the next part, which is like then you get called into meetings and they say, what else you got? And you go, nothing. But I got this script.
Oh, I've definitely seen people do that, and I've seen people have success off one and have nothing behind it. But honestly, having one script is not a great way to play the game. You know, write and write and write. If you're a writer, write and write and write and write. And if you're an actor and you have ideas about writing, that's great because then you have so much more power over your career. So acting is really, really hard. And you're always one audition away from your big break, and I find that the actors who are generating material have more satisfying careers if they haven't booked that big thing or they just didn't get on that gravy train. That sometimes does happen, not to disappoint any of you, you're all gonna have that. But I mean, it happens, and it happens, you know, in all these random ways, but having a voice, I think, is your best tool. If you're not like a big, you know, if you're not, or having someone who, like, you know, my whole passion is really shaping their voices and trying to find avenues for them.
Are you a fan of sticking to a genre as you try to find your voice, or can a voice transcend?
No, I think it can transcend. I mean, I do, and I think you can get really pigeonholed. But I love, like, they go, you know, I just read something yesterday from this comedy writing team, and they've written a ton of comedies and worked on a ton of TV shows, and they wrote a drama, and I read it, and I was like, oh my God, this is so good. And look, it's easier to go from comedy to drama than it is from drama to comedy, because comedy is like a slightly different, I mean, it's like being a good singer or something like that. You either can or you can't.
Yeah.
It's hard to teach it. It's sort of an internal.
But we hear a lot, we've heard a lot here on, not this stage, but on other stages, that you know, agents and managers and showrunners, it's like, I need to know that you have command in your particular area. Like, if you're an unknown, unsigned writer and you've got a whole bunch of different scripts and a whole bunch of different genres, I don't know what to do with you.
Well, then for them it's true, because they want to put you up for. They can do their job and they go, okay, I can put you up. These are the new comedies I'm sending you for those,
Right.
or these are the new procedurals I'm sending you for those, or this is the new scary anthology and I'm sending you for that. That for an agent, They're going to tell you that because it makes their job a lot easier. As a creative person, who says you can't write everything? And once you get success in one area, then people are going to be more receptive to you, perhaps making a change because you're more established.
All right. So what advice would you have, and then I'll turn it over to you guys. What advice would you have for writers who are on the outside of the wall looking in right now?
Keep writing. Just keep writing and get your stuff read and just ask people to read it and ask, people ask me to read stuff. Sometimes I say yes because I'm in the mood. And sometimes I can't because if I read something everybody asked me to read, I would never live. But I just get it to people, get it in front of people, get it in front of friends who are managers, who work with the manager, or an actor friend who has a manager, and can you get this to, you have to be as tenacious as you are talented, because they don't usually just knock on your door and go, hey, can I read what you've written lately? But I also say to writers, write and write and write. Don't write one script, write 10 scripts. Hone your craft, hone it. You'll keep getting better and better at it. And, you're not really a writer off of one. You've written that, but it would be hard to sustain yourself that way.
And then, I know I said that, but one quick one. Is there a common mistake you see, or something, your pet hate that you see, or pet peeve that you see on scripts, that you instantly say, oh, this is someone who's hasn't written a lot, or isn't a... Do you have a particular thing?
I would say in screenplays, I feel like I can tell when somebody is writing something that they think is supposed to be in a movie as opposed to the movie that they're trying to write. It's like a facsimile of a movie. Yeah. So the script is like a facsimile of a movie script. And, and then this big thing's going to explode. And then we're going to get back, and I'm like, everything feels like a copy of a copy of a copy, and there's no genuine soul in it. So I don't like that. And I'm a little bit of a logic police, so if you're going to do something really kind of illogical, which is fine, and I get that, and I can totally go on that journey with you, but I have to understand overall the picture of why all those departures were made. Otherwise, I'm going to go, what the fuck story are you telling me? So that's more for me. I'm more grounded.
No, that's fine. All right. Anybody have any questions? Nothing? Oh, there's a hand.
That's how you do it.
There it is.
Could you speak to your perspective about a premise pilot versus kind of more of an every episode type pilot?
Well, that's a good question. I think it depends on the buyer and where it lives, and if it's like a serialized show or a episodic. So like in half-hour broadcast network, they're going to want some premise in there because they're going to want to know, maybe it could even be in the cold open, but like you get fired from being a lawyer, and then we cut to, a year later, and now you're trying to be an actor. So they're going to want you to build that in so you know kind of what your world is. And you're going to get your characters really well established. In something that's more serialized or dramatic, or procedural, you don't really need a premise pilot. You just need to get your story engine going, particularly in serialized, which is most shows now. You don't really, the premise pilot is not as common as it used to be, I would say. People are more interested in your characters and, oh my God, where's this gonna go? What's gonna happen next? That's kind of that's really where you want to leave your readers.
Yes.
Sunny.
How often do you see people sort of take the It's Always Sunny route and produce a really lo-fi version of their pilot instead of just sending in a script? Do you see that often or never, rarely?
Rarely. And there have been a few things that convert, but I think I think the drawback of producing your own thing, unless it's undeniable, like it's great in animation because you get the sensibility. It's great in something that, here's what I'd say, and this is why it worked for Always Sunny. It's great in something that has a unique tone that you're just not going to get in a script, where you have to see somebody do a specific thing, or it's a timing thing, or it's a performance thing. So having like a sizzle of some kind, but producing a whole half hour, I think sometimes you're almost taking, unless it's absolutely just undeniably great, you're almost taking the imagination out of what it could be, and then you're kind of telling the buyer what it is, and then if they don't love it. But like there's those who can't. That was a pilot, and then it got sold as a show, and it was actually a pretty decent pilot because I saw it when they had done it, and so it does happen sometimes, but
Make it good.
I don't know if it's worth. I wouldn't say go make your pilot and then try to sell it.
What about a proof of concept or like a?
I think that's really great. Webisodes are good for high maintenance was a great thing that transitioned into a show. You don't have to have much. Sizzle reels. It's kind of a lot about tone and sensibility, and if you can't get that across on the page, and sometimes you can't, especially if you're trying something highly original, because the people reading it aren't going to know what it is if it's a little bit else, like Always Sunny, which has a very specific tone. You have to see those idiots doing that stuff. Otherwise you go, this isn't that funny. It's kind of lame, or it's kind of sophomoric, but then it becomes, so I guess, I forgot what you asked me, but yeah.
You answered it.
Don't waste your money on a pilot.
Yeah.
But sizzle reels are great. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So don't shoot the whole thing.
Uh-uh.
Is there a hand in the back there? Yes, way in the back there.
So I'm a musical theater girl, and I randomly made a short film this year to impress a girl, and now I'm in love with film, not the girl. Thank you. So I want to do what you do. Like, I want to build bridges and employ people. But I have this acute knowledge that I have so much to learn, because like I can sit here for the next hour and recite musical theater lyrics, but like really understanding the film business, I'm a baby. Is there any direction that you would point me in?
Development is always the best thing. So, and that starts from being, I don't know where you are in your life, but sometimes being an assistant to a producer or being an assistant to a producer or a director is a way in. Development jobs are really helpful because you read a lot. Being a reader can be really helpful, but it is just about immersing yourself in material, because it's really your command of material that is going to help you get to the point where you can do that. I mean, managers build bridges too, they kind of put people together, and also just who it can start out very organically. Oh my God, you should meet my friend so-and-so who did that, and my friend so-and-so who did this. You guys should go work together and collaborate, and I'll produce whatever you do. Or, it's, you can't be shy. You can't be shy. And so look, a lot of people have too much to read. I mean, even if you know someone, you say, like, I'll read for you. But I always say, go after, if you love musical theater, go try to find work with someone who loves musical theater, because they're going to appreciate your passion for musical theater. So you go in and say, oh my God, I would love nothing more than to work with you because you do what I love. And then it kind of works. It's that sort of, okay, I'll try working here, but it's not really a fit thing. That can kind of take you off track. I always say, just follow what you're passionate about and be around what you love, and you'll be good at it.
It's interesting, the volume of scripts I read, because I'm reading scripts at the at the more entry level, I suppose, not what you're reading. And then we get insiders like you, people sitting on stage here. And the difference I've noticed for me is the level of commitment that the people working have that I'm not seeing in a lot of the scripts. Like, oh, my second act sucks, but I'll fudge it through because the end is awesome, and they'll really love the end. Or my dialogue sucks, but this I'll fudge it. You know, as you're reading, it's like, I can see you fudging this. I can see you haven't thought this through. And then we get people sitting on here who are working professionals who have thought through every single word in their script. They've thought
You
through
have
it
to.
all.
I mean, there was this recently pretty good horror premise that came my way. It was a horror movie, but the script needed a lot of work. And another producer gave it to me, and I said, you know, this could be a good low budget horror film, but this writer needs to work on this. And so the producer said, oh, well, what if I bring him in and you tell him what you think? And I said, great. And he came in, I told him what I think, and then the writer said, I don't want to do that. I like it the way it is. And I said, okay. By then, good luck.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, you have to think about, I mean, oh God, when you read a great script, it's so exciting from when I read a great script. Because I'll go, oh, okay, and then I get one and I go like, oh my God. It's like finding a treasure. It's like finding a pearl. It's pretty exciting. So, and then you can see the work that has gone in the craft and the thought and the,
well, the commitment is the word I would use.
Yeah,
like
commitment.
They've thought it through. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
It's not easy either.
Fuck no.
Uh-uh.
All right. You can be the last one.
Great.
To make it good.
I'll make it good. Do you think that management or reps in general are necessary for your perception of value of the script, or even to hear a pitch, or is like a lawyer enough?
A lawyer's enough if you have a good producer. Like, I just sold something to Fox Broadcasting Company with two writers who've never sold anything before, and they didn't have an agent. And so, but
you were attached to them.
But I was attached.
So,
and
you need Debbie.
I walked in with them with the script, and we sold it. But having a manager, or probably having a manager is more important than having an agent initially, because sometimes it's really hard to get an agent without a manager, because a manager can get you an agent, or go after like a young agent who needs clients, and they'll kind of, if they like your writing. But I think it definitely helps. It's so hard when you don't have any representation. So you want someone who believes in you as a writer or a director or whatever it is that you do, or an actor, because you do that obviously, to really help you make choices and get you in front of people, because that's what they do. That's their job. They work hard, and they say, oh, I get calls every day from managers saying, I want you to meet this writer. I've just signed this writer. You should read this person. You should, or I'm sending you their reel because this is somebody that I think you're going to want to know, you know. And yeah, if you can get somebody, it's not a bad idea.
All right. On behalf of everyone, thank you, Debbie, for coming in.